Good evening, my friends, and welcome to a brand new and special episode of Terror Radio Podcast. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. This is a podcast dedicated in bringing you the best of horror and thriller, old-time radio broadcasts, as well as original stories. I'm your host, Keith, aka the Radio Show Nerd. And as I said, this is a very special episode for celebrating Mother's Day and my 54th birthday. And I won't lie, I was going to release a new episode on Thursday, but I've been traveling, so now I'm in one place. So today's episode is entitled, Happy Birthday, Mama. Now I'm sure you understand why. So, without further ado, this is Terror Radio. The two radio series highlighted tonight are CBS Radio Mystery Theater and Suspense. Our first radio play is entitled King's Birthday, and it was first broadcasted on August 29th, 1943 on Suspense. Following that is the radio play Mother Love. Boy, this one is a doozy. Oof. And this was first broadcasted on CBS Radio Mystery Theater, January 30th, 1974. And I also have a surprise for you all. 5 bonus radio plays. Each are from the top 5 Terror Radio episodes, which were ranked by Spotify. The first being The Diary of Symphonia Winters, which was featured on Suspense. Following that is Revolt of the Worms from Lights Out. After that is Evening Entertainment from The Black Mass, followed by Behind the Locked Door from The Mysterious Traveler, and ending with The Porch Light from Nightfall. Now, you all know the drill. Sit back, turn down the lights, and listen to King's Birthday, followed by Mother's Love, followed by extra tons of fun. Enjoy, everyone.
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here again to introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. Tonight, in one of her rare radio appearances, we bring you one of Hollywood's most idolized personalities, Miss Dolores Costello. With such noteworthy and distinguished players as Mr. Martin Kosleck, Mr. George Zucco, and Mr. Ian Wolfe, Miss Costello appears in A Story of Today, played against the background of the New Order in Europe. The story of an oppressed people who use strange and effective methods in dealing with their oppressors and with traitors. The story tonight is called The King's Birthday and was written by Corporal Louis Pelletier, A.U.S., and with the performances of Dolores Costello as the Danish Countess Elsa, of Martin Kosleck as the Nazi Gauleiter, Reichman, of George Zucco as Dr. Erickson, and of Ian Wolfe as old Peter of Cronwald Castle, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
They come to the castle almost every day now, the Gestapo, trying to question me. But it seems I'm very stupid. Somehow, I don't give the right answer. Perhaps it's my advanced age. When they question me about the night of the king's birthday, I get confused. I ramble on in the fashion of old people. Gentlemen, Cronwald Castle is 300 years old. For all those years, Cronwald has been a symbol of Danish liberty. Gentlemen, the sea waves beat against the rocks of Kronwald. The sea is deep. The sea knows everything. Ask her.
Stop babbling nonsense, you old fool. Answer my question. Did you know about those notes?
But of course, Herr Lieutenant. Everybody in the district knows about them. The note said Count Victor would kill himself on the night of the king's birthday.
Did you see the notes?
Oh, no, Herr Lieutenant. But the note said that Count Victor would kill himself because of his great shame. That I do know. And the note said the exact time, 12 midnight.
So you know the exact time?
Yes, I'm fond of clocks, you see. My father had a clock that told the time with a bird jumping out. The bird whistled, like this.
Oh. Stop that insane chirping.
Yes, Herr Lieutenant.
I'll take care of you later. Perhaps I'll have something that will improve your memory. Stay there till I call you.
Yes, Herr Lieutenant. There's nothing the matter with my memory. I could tell them a thing or two if I wanted. I could tell them how it all happened. It began 2 days before the king's birthday. That was the day the new Nazi Gauleiter, Herr Reichmann, came to the castle to see the Countess Elsa. I was told to show him to the library. It was cold and grey, and the sea was pounding on the rocks, very angry, like it always is in November. The new Gauleiter sat by the fireplace and warmed his hands and called for a glass of brandy.
And bring some soda, too, please.
Yes, Herr Reichmann.
How soon did your mistress say she would see me?
In a few minutes, Herr Reichmann.
You told her it was most urgent.
Yes, I told her. She'll be with you soon.
I doubt it. Most women's idea of soon is the best part of an hour. In my country, we train our women to...
The brandy, Herr Reichmann.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, in Germany we... Courvoisier. Where did you get brandy like this?
Count Victor can get many things that are forbidden to his countrymen, Herr Reichmann. Count Victor's cellar is well stocked.
Is it really?
Yes, we have meat at the castle. Nobody in Denmark has meat, only Kronwald Castle.
You're lucky.
So they say. Shall I leave the brandy, sir?
Yes, but you stay here a minute. Tell me, what's your name?
Peter, sir.
Ah, yes, Peter. You have been at Kronwald since you were a child. 63 years. Am I correct?
Why, yes. How did you know?
It's my business to know a lot of things, Peter. You don't approve of Count Victor, do you?
It's not my place, sir, to...
3 days ago in the marketplace, you were heard to make an indiscreet remark concerning Count Victor's collaboration with Berlin. I think a word very close to traitor was used.
Was it, sir?
What do you think?
I think, Herr Reichmann, the fire is in need of some more wood. If you'll excuse me, I'll get some.
Do, by all means. And Peter.
Yes, sir?
Tell your mistress that I do not intend to spend all afternoon here. My business is urgent, and
You may tell the Countess yourself, sir.
Herr Reichmann.
Countess Elsa, excuse me, I was just saying...
That's quite all right, Herr Reichmann. Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Peter told me your business was urgent. I hope I haven't kept you.
No, not at all. My business is urgent. But as a new Gauleiter of this district, I might combine social pleasure with business, and...
Oh, that's very kind of you.
I had hoped that my wife, Frau Reichmann...
Oh, of course. You must ask her to call sometime.
Yes, I will. Although I've never had the pleasure of meeting Count Victor, it would be a great honor if we may call as soon as he returns from Berlin.
Certainly, Herr Reichmann.
Thank you.
And this urgent business?
Yes, we come to that. Do you mind if I smoke?
Not at all.
A good cigar always makes unpleasant things easier to tell.
It sounds almost as if you had rehearsed that line on the way to the castle, Herr Reichmann.
I did. And since it was ineffective, I'll be blunt, Countess.
I'd prefer it.
3 days ago, Countess, to be exact, on the day I arrived at Kronwald to begin my duties as Gauleiter of this district, I found this note on my desk. Read it, please.
Count Victor of Grunwald will kill himself on the night of the king's birthday.
That note was on my desk in the morning. At noon, I found this one. Read it, please.
Count Victor of Grunwald will repudiate his Nazi collaborators. He will choose the night of the king's birthday for his death.
I thought at first it was some crank, but the notes kept coming. Then I heard that everybody in the district believed what the note said. In every house and shop and farm, they are saying that Count Victor is going to kill himself. You see why I said my business was urgent.
Yes, I see.
It's not that I have the slightest fear for the Count's safety, but the writer of these notes must be found and treated with severest penalties.
You have no fear for my husband's safety?
Of course not. Certainly no anonymous letter writer could force the Count to take his own life.
I wonder.
What do you mean?
You wish me to be frank with you?
Naturally.
You know that my husband is hated by the whole countryside?
What of it? People here are too stupid to know what's good for them.
Perhaps. But the writer of these notes seems to be a little less than stupid.
You think so?
If you knew Danish history, Herr Reichmann, you might agree. For hundreds of years, the night of the king's birthday has been a special occasion at Grunwald. On that night, the castle renews its pledge of loyalty to the king and to Denmark's freedom.
A very theatrical gesture.
Quite. But if anyone wished to remind Count Victor...
If someone wished to remind the Count that he had chosen our glorious Führer for his leader...
Yes. The night of the king's birthday would be, shall we say, the psychologically correct time to do it.
You reason well, Countess.
I know my countrymen.
Evidently.
I can see how these notes would inflame their imagination. If Count Victor were to take his own life as a public repudiation of his present political bonds, the whole country would be stirred to its depths.
I see. You seem to view the possibility of your husband's death rather calmly, Countess.
Like you, Herr Reichmann, I have no fear for his safety. I am only presenting the political possibilities.
Quite so. And since you grasp the full significance of the notes, you understand that I must take certain liberties in order to track down the writer.
Liberties?
Yes. I shall ask your permission to talk with Dr. Erickson.
Oh, Dr. Erickson?
Well, I'm told he lives here at the castle.
Yes, but...
I should like to talk with Dr. Erickson.
As you wish. Peter will show you to the doctor's study. However, I assure you...
My time is short, Countess. I understand that Dr. Erickson is one of your country's able psychiatrists. I understand that Dr. Erickson is an authority on mass suggestion. His help should be invaluable.
Dr. Erickson.
Yes, Peter. Show the gentleman in. Sit down, Herr Reichmann. Don't be alarmed about these mice. I'll remove them just as soon as Herman here gets through the maze. Watch him. He's really quite clever. I've been trying him on liver extract and... he made it. Good night, Herman. Now, off to bed. I've been expecting you, Herr Reichmann. Please sit down.
Thank you.
You've come to see me about the notes, am I right?
Yes, you're right, Doctor.
When I first heard about them, I said to myself, the new Gauleiter will want my theory concerning the type of mind which would be prompted to write such notes. I'll tell you my theory, Herr Reichmann.
I don't want your theory, Doctor. I want you to answer some questions.
Oh, so it's like that. And perhaps you want a sample of my handwriting, too.
I'm not a fool, Doctor.
That's very possible.
How long have you been treating Count Victor for a certain nervous disorder?
5 years.
What would you say is his condition now?
You've never met Count Victor, have you, Herr Reichmann?
No.
When you talk with him, you'll see no outward sign of his malady. It manifests itself only during periods of despondency. In the last few years, I am happy to say that these periods have been infrequent.
Count Victor depends a good deal on you, doesn't he, Doctor?
Perhaps I've almost cured him. In return, he's given me this laboratory and money for my experiments.
But you do have a great deal of influence on his mental processes.
Yes, Herr Reichmann, I do. In fact, if I decided to, shall we say, liquidate Count Victor, I would have written the notes exactly as the people say they are written. Like all nervous people, the Count would be highly susceptible to such mental attack. That's what you wanted me to say, isn't it?
Yes.
We know then where we stand.
Almost. One thing more I'll ask you, Doctor. Count Victor had a brother who left Kronwald when Denmark was occupied by our troops. That brother, Christian, is now known to be working with the Danish underground. Formerly, he was one of your students at the university. Is that right?
Christian was one of my most brilliant students.
Do you know where he is now?
No, I don't. And neither does your Gestapo. That's the only thing we share in common.
You are a very outspoken man, Doctor.
I find it the best form of deception.
Do you think it wise to try to deceive the lawful government of your country?
Lawful government? You have a quaint sense of humor, Herr Reichmann.
You may not find it so quaint if Count Victor ever removes his protection from you.
He won't. When you've informed him of his impending suicide, as I presume you will, you'll see he'll need me more than ever. You do intend to show the notes to the Count, don't you?
Yes. I will present myself to His Excellency tonight on his return from Berlin.
Yes, his reactions to the notes will be most interesting. Would it inconvenience you if I would be present on the occasion?
Oh, not at all, Doctor. I'd be delighted. Your own reactions should be most interesting, too.
Dad? That's what the people think, eh? They think they can kill me with words. They can't do that to me, can they, Doctor?
Easy, Count Victor, easy.
Look at this childish note. Count Victor will kill himself on the night of the king's birthday. Because of his great shame here, I'll great shame them, all right. They'll see that... Doctor, a little of the brandy, please.
Yes, of course, Count Victor. Now, you mustn't upset yourself.
Who's upset? The whole thing is completely nonsensical, completely.
Of course it is. Ask Herr Reichmann. His police have practically caught the writer of the notes, haven't they, Herr Reichmann?
Practically, Doctor. You have nothing to worry about, Count Victor.
You see?
Doctor, tonight, if I need a sedative...
Certainly, Count Victor.
I'll show them. I'll give them a dinner here on the night of the king's birthday. Everyone will hear about it. They'll see who's afraid. I'll give a dinner. Herr Reichmann, will you be my guest at dinner?
With pleasure, Count Victor.
I'll light up this whole castle like a Christmas tree. And Elsa, you'll wear that gown you wore at the palace and your jewels. You understand? You'll wear all your jewels.
Yes, Victor.
Kill me with words, eh? If it's words they're after, I'll give them words. Herr Reichmann, I'll make a statement to your newspapers the night of the king's birthday. I'll stuff words down the people's throat. Yes. And there's someone in particular who'll read what I have to say. My brother, Christian. I want him especially to read it. Herr Reichmann, have you ever seen my brother?
No, Count Victor.
His picture was in that empty frame up there next to mine. I destroyed his picture.
Victor, you're getting excited. Dr. Erickson.
Yes, you're right, Elsa. Sometimes the strain of my work is too much. Dr. Erickson, you'll talk to me for a while before I go to bed, won't you?
Of course.
Talk to you, Count Victor?
Yes, the doctor has a way of calming my nerves. It's slightly hypnotic, isn't that it, Doctor?
You might call it that, Count Victor.
Count Victor, I'd strongly advise...
No, it's the only thing that helps me. I just go quietly to sleep while the doctor talks.
But, Count Victor...
Good night, Herr Reichmann. I'll expect you here for dinner on the night of the king's birthday.
Of course, Count Victor.
Elsa,
Yes, Victor.
they can't hurt me with words, can they?
No, Victor.
They can't hurt me if I don't listen, can they? If I shut my ears, I'll be all right. That's it. Shut my ears. I won't listen. I won't listen. I won't listen. I won't listen. I won't listen.
Herr Gauleiter,
Yes, Lieutenant?
while you were out to lunch...
You needn't tell me. It's another note.
Yes, Herr Gauleiter.
Where did you find it this time?
I hesitate to...
Speak up! Speak up!
I found it, Herr Gauleiter, in the pocket of my own tunic when I was about to go on duty.
Never mind the details. I found one of them under my pillow this morning. Count Victor called me and said there was one delivered with his morning paper. A farmer came in here at 8 o'clock. He found one nailed to his door. Lieutenant, it has got to stop.
Yes, Herr Gauleiter.
Just as our Führer says. If you tell a lie often enough, everybody believes it.
That's true, Herr Gauleiter.
Is it?
Well, as the Gauleiter says...
Do you believe Count Victor will kill himself?
Oh, no, Herr Gauleiter.
Neither do I. But the Countess was right about one thing. If he did kill himself after all these notes, the effect on the people would be electrifying.
But you just said that...
I'm talking about effects, Lieutenant. From what I've seen of the Count, he is too much of a coward to take his own life. But if someone else killed him and made it look like suicide...
Yes, it could be done, but how?
How? I don't know. There will be 4 of us at dinner. I have ordered 50 guards to patrol the grounds. 4 guards will be stationed in the dining room while we eat. No one can get near the Count. It's impossible to kill him. But in this strange country, you can't even trust the impossible.
They say the castle is guarded tonight. 50 soldiers.
They say the Count locked himself in his room all day writing. A message to the people, they say.
They say the Gauleiter has 5 Gestapo men at the castle besides the soldiers. 1 Gestapo man is watching the food for poison.
Wait a minute, you. Taste that wine before you bring it into the dining room.
What did you say, sir?
I said taste that wine.
Oh, taste it. Why, of course. Ah, it's very good, sir. Did you doubt its quality?
Don't be insolent. All right. You may take it in.
Thank you, sir.
And if there's any left after they're through...
Oh, I'll take care of you, sir.
Ah, more wine. Good boy, Peter. Set it right here. We'll drink another toast to the king.
Oh, Victor, I think we've drunk enough toast.
Oh, nonsense. This is the king's birthday dinner. We've got to drink to the king.
Oh, Peter,
Yes, sir?
did they make you taste that wine before you brought it in?
Yes, Doctor, they did.
What's this? What's this about tasting wine?
A simple precaution of man, Count Victor. I hope you don't mind.
Mind? No, I don't mind, but you don't think that...
Now, Victor, don't get upset.
Oh, Elsa, for the love of heaven, stop repeating that inane phrase. I've been saying that all through dinner. I'm not upset. I just want to know what's going on. What have I got to be upset about? You're more nervous than I am.
I can understand the Countess's feeling, as this is the first dinner I've ever had with 4 soldiers observing my digestive processes. Don't you think, Herr Reichmann?
I must insist, Doctor, that the soldiers remain.
Well, at least ask them to sit down.
Gefreiter,
Yes, Herr Gauleiter.
your men may be seated.
Thank you, Herr Gauleiter. Ihr könnt euch hinsetzen.
Yes, and Peter, go get some wine for the soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Everyone will have more wine, Peter. We're going to toast the king. What time's it, Doctor?
5 minutes to 12, Count Victor.
And I'm still alive. Peter, it's 5 minutes to 12, and I'm still alive. Go get the wine, Peter.
Yes, sir.
You know, Peter tells me everything they say down at the village. The people say I have 5 minutes to live.
So, Peter tells you the village gossip.
Oh, yes. He knows everything. It was Peter who discovered most of the notes and brought them to me.
He brought you the note?
Oh, yes, and the last one said that Now, what did it say?
Victor, can't we talk about something else?
Why? Ask the doctor. He and I discussed it for hours. Well, the doctor told me about some sect over in the West Indies that disposes of an enemy by simply writing the victim's name on a piece of paper and sending it to him. Same sort of nonsense is being tried on me. Isn't that your theory, Doctor?
Well,
Dr. Erickson, in view of the Count's nervous condition, don't you
Herr
think...
Gauleiter, my private life is my own affair.
When you work for the Reich, Count Victor, you have no private life. I repeat, Dr. Erickson, in view of the Count's nervous disorder...
As the Count's personal physician, I prescribe my own remedies. To know the truth about occult practices is the best way to guard against them.
But surely you don't think that...
In Haiti, Herr Reichmann, I saw a man die after receiving a note with his name on it. I don't explain it. I tell you a fact.
You see? It's possible. It's a fact. Well, I could be murdered with pen and ink. It could be done in exactly 3 minutes if my watch is right. Yes. 3 minutes to live. Where's Peter with that wine?
Victor, if you will excuse me, I have a headache.
You stay here, Elsa. No one leaves this room till midnight.
Gefreiter. Yes, Herr Gauleiter.
Lock the door. Bolt all the windows.
Yes, Herr Gauleiter. Türen schließen.
Yes, that's right. Bolt everything. They won't come in here after me. They won't touch me.
Victor, you're being absurd. I asked
Countess,
you.
I think it best to comply with Count Victor's wishes.
Humor me, my dear. Humor me. You'd never forgive yourself if you treated me unkindly during the last 2 minutes of my life. Especially since you wished me dead so many times.
Victor.
It's the truth, isn't it?
Count Victor.
2 minutes to live, Doctor. This is a good time to hear Elsa's confession.
If I may say a word...
You may not. Elsa, it's the truth, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes, Victor. It's the truth. I wish you were dead. I hate every minute I live under your roof. I hate the thing you've become. A Nazi puppet. I hate your sniveling, goose-stepping mind, just as I loathe this fat specimen of the super race you've invited to dinner.
Gefreiter, all right?
No, let her finish, Herr Gauleiter. Go on, Elsa.
I despise you as a man. Your countrymen despise you. Even before the Nazis came, you were planning to sell us out. All that Kronwald has fought for down through the years. The Danes should be a proud and free people. You sold all that for a cast-iron Nazi cross. I wish you were dead, Victor. I wish your soul were rotting in the grave that's waiting for all these mad men of Europe.
Doctor, listen.
12 o'clock.
May God grant wisdom to our king and freedom to our people.
May Kronwald always keep the faith.
Who turned out the lights? Who turned out the lights? Gefreiter, I hear a door opening.
No, Herr Gauleiter. My hand is on the door. It is not moving.
Yes?
Gefreiter!
Count Victor of Kronwald.
I hear you.
Who is speaking?
Victor, this is your time. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Now you die like a soldier, Victor. But your name will live on.
Victor! Don't do it, Victor!
Goodbye, Elsa.
Victor!
Have they found the body? They say the body was washed out to sea. But yesterday on the rocks they found the Count's wristwatch and a handkerchief with the initial V on it.
They'll never find the body.
Say what you will. Count Victor was a brave man to take his own life.
Yes, he showed those Nazis a Dane could die for honor.
You know what the Nazis say? They say someone forced the Count to kill himself.
Well, how could you force a
That's
man
what the Nazis say. And listen, they've arrested old Peter. They're trying to make old Peter talk.
Peter won't talk. But if he did, I bet he could tell them a thing or two.
Yes, I could tell them a thing or two. I could tell them why they'll never find Count Victor's body. You know why? Because Count Victor didn't jump out of the window. How could he? Count Victor was dead 6 days before the king's birthday. No, I didn't kill him. He was shot through the head by his own brother Christian the night he came home unexpectedly from Berlin, 6 days before the king's birthday. Yes, I worked with the underground, and so did the Countess and Dr. Erickson. That's why Christian came here to see us. When the Count returned unexpectedly, Christian decided to try to reason with him. They quarreled and, well, Christian eliminated the slimiest traitor Denmark has ever known. It was then that Dr. Erickson got the idea for the notes.
Christian, we've got to try it. This new Gauleiter has never seen Count Victor. You'll pose as the Count and we'll stage your suicide. The moral effect on the people will be tremendous.
Christian agreed, and we started sending the notes. The rest was easy. We all played our parts, and Dr. Erickson coached us on the exact thing to do at 12 midnight.
At the last stroke of 12, Peter will turn out the lights from downstairs. You've got that, Peter?
Yes, Doctor.
Then what do?
I go through the passageway that leads to the hidden door in the dining room fireplace. I open the door and call out, Count Victor, this is your time. Are you ready?
And you, Christian?
I say, I am ready.
I call out, don't do it, Victor. Don't do it.
Then I break one of the windows. And you, Christian?
I go through the fireplace door and disappear.
Yes. And Count Victor of Kronwald has died for his country.
Well, that's how it was done. We planned it well, even to putting Count Victor's wristwatch and handkerchief on the rock where the Nazis would find them. Presently, the Gauleiter will question me some more. But soon there will be a note on his desk, and I can hear him saying,
Lieutenant, how did this note get on my desk?
A note? I don't know, Herr Gauleiter. What does it say?
Says, remember the night of the king's birthday. Your turn is next, Herr Gauleiter. Your turn is next.
so closes The King's Birthday, starring Dolores Costello with Martin Kozlik, George Zuko, and Ian Wolfe. Tonight's tale of Suspense. The producer of these broadcasts is William Spear, who, with Ted Bliss, director, Lud Gluskin and Lucien Marowik, conductor and composer, and Corporal Louis Pelletier, radio author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense. This is your narrator, the Man in Black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense with us again next week. Suspense will be heard at a new time, Thursdays at 10:30 Eastern War Time and 7:30 Pacific War Time. Perhaps you will want to note this down. The new time for Suspense will be Thursdays beginning next Thursday at 10:30 Eastern War Time and 7:30 Pacific War Time. Our play next Thursday will be The Singing Walls, based on a story by Cornell Woolrich.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the fear you can hear. Welcome to the sounds of suspense, to the terrifying world of your own imagination. And I hope you won't hold it against us if we scare you a little with a tale that really could happen, I suppose. But when you hear the outcome, you'll hope it never does. Consider the case of Paula Richards, age 24, who put her future in the hands of an old fortune teller and dealer in the macabre.
But one thing I must add about our arrangement.
Yes?
On the birth of the child, I will demand one favor. You must promise to grant it.
A favor? What?
I shall ask it when the child is born.
But I can't promise that when I don't know what it is.
It's a very small favor, but it is part of the bargain. And believe me, Mrs. Richards, if you do decide to bargain with me, I warn you to be ready to keep your part of it.
Our mystery drama, Mother Love, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bob Jurin and stars Joan Hackett. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll return shortly with Act One. A doctor's waiting room is not the most pleasant place to spend a winter morning. And for Paula and George Richards, this morning is a very fateful one.
What's taking him so long?
Easy, honey. Dr. Morton has other patients, sick patients.
Why can't Dr. Morton say yes or no? Why does he have to keep us waiting?
He wanted to see us together, in person. I understand how he feels. Sometimes a doctor's word can make or wreck a life.
This waiting is making a wreck out of me. I'm going to call Mr. Jordan. I'll tell him I won't be in today. I told him I'd be late, but I'm just no good for work today. I'm sure the doctor won't mind my using his phone.
Jordan Electric.
Oh, Mr. Jordan, I didn't expect you to answer.
Oh, Millie's out sick. What's the verdict, Paula?
I don't know yet. That's why I'm calling. I'm too upset to come in today. Is it all right?
Sure, I understand. The books can wait another day. No audit till the end of the quarter anyway.
Thank you.
What's the holdup?
The doctor's busy. We're next.
Courage up, Paula. I've got my fingers crossed for you.
Thanks, Mr. Jordan. Goodbye.
Bye, Paula.
He didn't mind, did he?
No, he didn't. He said if I wanted...
Mrs. Richards, Mr. Richards.
Hello, Doc.
Oh, thank heavens.
Will you step inside, please? Come right in. Take those chairs by the desk.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you had to wait.
Doctor, I'd like...
I know, Miss Richards, you're anxious about the tests.
Oh, you have no idea.
Easy, honey.
I'll come right to the point. I think that's what you want.
Yes.
Please, Doctor.
All right. I can't sweet-talk my way through to make it easier for you. The results are negative. I'm sorry, Mrs. Richards, but from my examination, Dr. Field's examination, and the lab tests, you simply cannot ever hope to bear a child.
Oh, George.
It's certain, then? Absolutely certain?
Yes, it is.
Would artificial?
No. The trouble lies with Mrs. Richards. She's physically incapable of conceiving or bearing a child.
I was trying to prepare for this, but it sort of hits you right between the eyes.
Take me home, George, please.
I hate to leave you alone today, but I have to get to the studio.
It's all right, George.
You know that I'm not going to love you any the less, Paula.
Darling, I just wanted to give you a son.
So it's not in our cards. We have each other. That's the main reason we got married, to be together. A baby would have been extra icing on the cake.
Don't stop loving me, George, please. Please, George. Don't stop loving me.
I told you I won't, honey, and I meant it. You'll be okay today?
I'll be okay. I won't be singing around the apartment, but I won't be jumping out the window either.
I hate like the devil to leave you, honey, but I'm due on the air with the noon news.
I'll be all right. See you at 7.
Paula, what's the news? I've been dying for your call all morning.
Edna, would you have lunch with me today? I know our date isn't until Friday, and I know that it's snowing awful hard, but if you could just...
Of course I'll have lunch, but get me down off the ceiling. What did the doctor say?
I'll meet you at the towers, 1 o'clock?
Oh, of course. Paula, what's happened? Bad news?
Yes, bad news.
Oh, I can imagine how tough it is for you, Paula.
No, you can't. I'm going to lose George.
Did he say that?
No, just the opposite, but... Oh, Edna, I know. I have a feeling.
Oh, now, Paula, honey, don't start planning your own downfall.
I'm afraid it's all planned. It's all in the cards.
In the cards?
Yes, you know, it's just an expression.
Well, honey, I don't know whether I should suggest this.
What?
Well, you're just mentioning cards. It seems sort of frivolous at a time like this, but... Well, there's a woman down in the East Village. She tells fortunes, with cards and tea leaves.
And what could you do for me? Tell me what I already know.
Well, this woman specializes in herbs. She calls herself Mother Love.
Mother Love?
Well, now, mind you, I'm just suggesting, but maybe, just maybe, this woman could help you.
How?
Sometimes these old crones can read things in the future. Maybe a baby is in the cards for you.
After the doctor said that there wasn't...
It's just an idea.
Well, how do you know this Mother Love?
Oh, quite by accident. About 6 months ago. Henry and, well, maybe it was Ed. Anyway, it was the current one at the time. We were bar hopping in the village when we came on this fantastic storefront. The window was painted green and purple with red curtains, and it said Mother Love in orange letters. Fortunes told, secret herb remedies. Seemed like a lark, so we went in. And all I remember from then on was mumbling and incense. And being told, 1, I'd never marry. 2, that I was too fickle and flighty. And 3, that my mother had a wart on her right thigh.
Oh, really?
Darned if the old crone wasn't right about that, too.
Edna, the idea that a fortune teller spell can help me have a baby is just nonsense.
Well, looking at it in the cold light of day, you're right. It's just a thought. Something to say, I guess. Honestly, Pa, I feel so uncomfortable. I mean, what do you say to someone in your predicament?
Hello?
Edna?
Oh, hi, Paula.
Edna, look, last month you mentioned a woman in the village. She works with herbs.
Mother Love? Paula, you don't mean you've been thinking seriously about that?
Not until now, not really, but I'd like to know how to find her.
Well, I seem to remember it was on 8th Street. No, it was 9th. Yeah, 9th, near 1st. Well, that's about all I'm sure of.
9th, near 1st.
Now, Paula, I wasn't really being serious last month.
Well, it can't do any harm. Right now, I'm ready to grab at any straws.
Well, when are you going?
Saturday.
Have you told George?
No, he'd be furious.
Do you want me to come with you?
Would you? I'd feel a lot better.
Now, Paula, let's not go too far.
What does that mean?
Well, we all laugh at fortune-telling and spells and brews, but sometimes when we want to believe, well, things happen.
I'm going to this Mother Love because I want something to happen. Maybe she can't do anything to help me have the baby, but I'm going to try. Look, it was all your idea, Edna.
I think it's at the end of this block.
What a neighborhood. Makes my skin crawl.
That's it.
I see what you mean about those red curtains and orange letters.
Looks like a Coney Island transplant that failed.
Mother Love, fortunes told, secret herb remedies. Well, Mother Love, here I come. Good heavens. I never expected anything like this.
It's not what I remember. But then I'd been bar hopping. This rug, it must be worth a fortune.
Edna, look at the paintings.
There's too much incense, though.
Mother has company. Good morning, ladies. Come in. How can Mother serve you? Your fortunes, perhaps? Maybe an ailment? Well?
I'd like to talk to you.
It will cost you. Mother's time is expensive.
Well, I'll pay.
Are both of you?
Oh, no, I'm just along for the ride.
Come then. We'll go into my studio.
Edna,
I'll be here.
This way, my dear. Through the curtains. It's a little dark, but I like it that way.
Mother, is that you? Mother?
Of course, Claude.
Mother, is that you?
Don't be alarmed. He's harmless. He's my son.
What's the matter with him?
He's blind and feeble-minded.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Come, sit down at the table. What will it be? Cards, tea leaves, crystal ball?
No. I'm more interested in herbs, I think.
What is it you want?
I want to have a baby. I was told that you might be able to help.
Who told you I can do things like that?
A friend?
That one out there?
No, someone else.
Mother, is that you?
Yes, Claude. Everything's all right. I tell fortunes. I give herbs for minor complaints. I do not deal in that sort of thing.
Is there a herb that might help me?
Of course not. Not without...
a spell.
Forget it. I've said too much already.
Mother Love, I want desperately to have a child. The doctor says that I can't. The problem is my fault. I'll try anything. Even if a spell is necessary.
It will be expensive.
I don't care.
There may be a way to help you have a normal baby with your own husband.
Please, that's all I want.
It will cost you $1,000.
I have that.
Plus another $5,000 when you have conceived.
$5,000?
I said it would be expensive, and I guarantee nothing. With these things, we can only try.
Will you tell me one thing?
Perhaps not.
Have you ever done this, or this sort of thing before?
I cannot answer that.
Quite a gamble for Paula. $6,000 and no guarantee. A long shot if there ever was one. Will she take the gamble? Is she desperate enough? We'll soon see. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. Welcome again to the studio of Mother Love in a dingy part of New York City. A strange and eerie place where strange things are said to happen. Let's see if they do, as Paula Richards considers a bargain for a baby.
I'll have to think this over. I admit that I am desperate, but I'll just have to think about it.
It's for you to decide, of course.
Mother, who's there? Who is that?
Hush, Claude. I'll be with you in a moment. I'm sorry, he's very ill.
Thank you. Anyway, I'll be in touch with you if I decide that...
You'll be in touch. Yes. Claude, what's the matter now? Mother's here. Mother is always here.
Well, I thought you'd never come out. What happened?
Let's get out of here.
She really said that?
Well, she said she doesn't guarantee anything.
Paula, now listen to me. Forget it. She's a fraud and you know it. Well, you can't throw away $6,000 on a phony fortune teller.
But if she could possibly...
Oh, what? You'll have to tell George about this.
Heavens, no. He'd think I was completely crazy.
You know, I'm sorry I ever brought this up.
Don't be, Edna. Look, I won't lose my head.
Well, now, where would you get the money anyway without telling George?
Well, I have $1,000 on a personal account. It's all that's left of my father's inheritance. I'll worry about the rest later.
Mother has company. Why, it's you.
I have the 1,000. I want to try.
Come in. This way. I thought you'd be back. Mother Love knows.
Mother, is that you?
You have the money.
Here, in cash.
Good. I need it. For Claude. He needs medicine so badly. Poor Claude cost me so much. Are you sure you want a child?
I want a baby. Get on with whatever you have to do.
Yes, of course. Excuse me. I have to get some things. I had them already. I knew you'd be back. Now, first of all, this talisman. You must wear it around your waist. This package contains herbs. A special combination to relax you. That's the secret. To relax. Half a teaspoon in a cup of boiling water once a day. In the morning is best.
That's all?
For now. But one thing I must add about our arrangement.
Yes?
On the birth of the child, I will ask you one favor. You must promise to grant it.
A favor? But what?
I shall ask it when the child is born.
But I can't promise that when I don't know what it is.
It's a very small favor. Don't worry. But it's part of the bargain.
Very well, it's a long way off.
Yes, it is. Take the talisman and the herbs. And don't be alarmed if certain unusual things happen in the next few weeks.
Unusual things? What kind of things?
You'll understand. You'll recognize them. They will mean things are working. Have you told your husband about this?
No.
Good. Tell no one. No one. Now, the last thing I must have is your name.
Paula Richards.
Your husband?
George Richards.
Go now. And beware.
I'll be in touch with you.
Yes. 5,000. Remember when you conceive.
Mother! Who's there? Who's
Lord, Mother's here now. Only Mother. See, Claude? $1,000 from the nice lady. The lady who's going to help us. You're going to get better, Claude. You won't be sick anymore. The lady is going to help us. Isn't that nice, Claude?
Paula? Penny for your thoughts.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of anything, really.
You've been like that a lot lately. Distant.
I'm surprised you noticed.
Look, honey, I know I haven't been a lily to live with either. I mean, we've let our problem be too important. We're both disappointed, but we can't change the situation. I mean, we have to adjust to it. Sorry if I've been a pill, if I've done anything to make you so...
Edgy.
That's your word. Is that how you feel?
I guess. George, let's go to the show tonight. We haven't been out in weeks.
I'd like that, Paula. I'd really like that.
I've had a lot on my mind, and you're right. I've been thinking about myself too much.
I'll see what I can get tickets for.
Look at the time. I've got to shower and run.
Hey, will you look at that?
What is it?
It's a bird at the window. I think it's a crow.
No, crows are bigger.
A blackbird?
I don't know.
I thought they all went south for the winter.
It looks awfully cold.
Well, don't invite it in. They know how to take care of themselves. I'll see you tonight, honey.
Bye, George.
I'll call you at the office about the tickets for tonight.
Okay. Shoo. Go away. Shoo. Oh, well, a few crumbs. Then I've got to get to work. You look so cold. Now here's some bread. Get out of here! Get out! What am I going to do? Oh, get off the floor, lad! Get out! Get out! Oh, Lord! What am I going to do? Get out! Shoo! Oh, good. Go away! Hello? Mrs. Jensen? Is Mr. Jensen there? This is Mrs. Richards in 3A. No, it's not about the heat. It's about a bird in my apartment. I can't get it out. Well, I thought that Mr. Jensen might... Oh, no, I've got to get to work. All right, I'll leave... he can get in with the passkey. Maybe the bird will just fly out, and I'll leave the window open a little. Yes, all right, thank you. Bye. Stop following me. Get out! What am I going to get rid of you? You wanted to see me, Mr. Jordan?
Yes. Sit down, Paula. How are you feeling?
Why?
Well, I know you've had a personal disappointment. You've been under a strain.
You don't have to say it, Mr. Jordan. I know that my work has just been rotten lately, and I'm just all on edge. And today there is a bird in my apartment.
A bird?
Tapped on the window this morning, and stupid me opened the window and gave it some crumbs.
What kind of bird?
I don't know. It's black and shiny. Not too big. I asked the superintendent to get it out. It's so unnerving.
Well, I can imagine.
I'm sorry about the work, Mr. Jordan. I know I've been letting you down.
No, well, I'm sure it's just a passing thing. Your work has always been tops, Paula. But the books are important. And with the auditors coming in next month, well, everything just has to be in order.
I know, Mr. Jordan, and I promise I'll straighten up.
Yes? Yes, she's here. It's a call for you.
Oh, it must be George about tonight. Hello?
Mrs. Richards? You know who this is.
Yes, I know.
Tell me, Mrs. Richards, has the visitor arrived yet?
The visitor?
You'll know. You'll know when the visitor arrives.
You don't mean the bird.
Good, good. He has arrived. It's working. Yes, it's working, Mrs. Richards. Don't neglect the tea now, whatever you do. And take care of the visitor. It is most important. I'll be in touch with you again very soon.
Oh, Paula, is it trouble? You're white as a ghost.
No trouble at all. That is, I don't know.
Well, you mentioned the bird. Is that it?
Yes. The superintendent got it out.
Oh, good. Then there's nothing to worry about.
Hey, honey, I'm home. Paula?
Don't touch it, George. What? Just let it alone.
Oh, good grief. How did it get in?
Look, I let it in by accident. It won't leave.
I'll get it to leave.
No, George, don't go near it, please.
Paula, we are not going to live with that in the house.
It has a broken leg. I was thinking of getting a cage for it.
You can't cage a wild bird, and I'm not going to sit around with one beady eye staring at me like that.
George, don't touch it, please. Just go along with me.
Oh, Paula, a pet is one thing, but this...
I have to take care of it.
Why a wild bird? I can't stand the way it stares at me.
It stares at me, too. Well, just get used to it.
Now, well, this gives me the willies.
I'll get dinner. You have to be back at the studio at 9, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sorry about our theater date, but with Pete's wife in the delivery room, I've got to cover the evening news.
Of course, Pete shouldn't be anywhere else when the baby is born. Do you want French fries or boiled potatoes?
Whatever's fastest. So you found a home, did you? Well, I'm not in favor of it, but it looks like you're part of the family.
Paula, come in. I haven't seen you, since your father's funeral, almost 3 years.
It was nice of you to see me, Mr. Martin.
And why wouldn't I? I'm only sorry I wasn't more attentive to you after your father passed away. Fred and I were good friends. I've missed him.
Thank you. So have I. I'm here to ask a favor.
Of course, Paula.
Mr. Martin, would you lend me $5,000, no questions asked?
5,000? Are you in some kind of trouble, Paula?
No questions?
Oh, yes, of course. You wouldn't ask me if you didn't need it badly. I will, Paula. I don't have that much on hand. Suppose I send you a check.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't need it immediately. Any time in the next few weeks will just be fine.
You'll have it in a few days.
I promise you I will pay you back.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Hello?
Mrs. Richards?
Oh, yes, it's you.
Things are ready. You'll be needing the $5,000 very soon.
I've arranged that.
Good. How is the visitor? Still there? It must be there.
It is.
Good. $5,000, Claude.
What?
The lady will give us $5,000.
Mother?
You'll be going to get better, Claude. You'll be able to see again. Your legs won't hurt.
Mother?
Mother has to leave you for a while. But don't worry, Claude. We'll be together soon with $5,000. Everything will be all right. I promise you.
Everything will be all right for Mother Love and Claude, and presumably Paula. But when we tamper with the unknown, the results can be very unexpected. I'll return shortly with Act 3.
I'm Hy Brown, producer of Radio Mystery Theater. In recent weeks, I've invited listeners to enter a weekly prize drawing and to send along comments about our program if you wished. Well, you leave me just about speechless except to say thank you for the fantastic response. Thousands upon thousands of letters, and they're still pouring in. But although we couldn't feel more gratified, there is a problem. In addition to your kind words, many of you ask questions, and the volume of mail is so great that we can't get around to sifting through it for many weeks. But now that the drawing is over, if you have a specific question, please try us again, and we'll aim for a quick reply. Address, Mystery Theater, Box 5152, Radio City Station, New York, 10019. Mystery Theater, Box 5152, Radio City Station, New York, 10019.
This is WBBM Chicago News Radio 78.
Let's return now to the plight of Paula and George Richards. You'll remember that Mother Love told Claude everything would be all right. But things are not quite so right for George. In fact, things for George are getting downright impossible.
Paula, I am not going to bed another night with the bird on the dresser.
It's been there every night for 2 weeks. All it does is sleep. You've got to admit he hasn't been any trouble.
I still don't like the look in its eye. The way it hobbles with that broken leg. It's grotesque.
Turn out the light, George. You won't see it then.
Oh, boy. I never thought I'd be sharing my bedroom with a bird.
Good night, darling.
What's the matter with that thing?
I don't know. It never acted that way before.
Keeps that up, I'm going to shoot it.
Good night, George.
Good night, Paula. Paula, what is it? Paula!
It's pain in my
Oh, wait a minute, let me get the light. There.
I can't breathe.
I'll call Dr. Morton.
No. Wait. Oh, what's the matter with... What is the matter with the bird?
Devil take the bird. I'm concerned about you.
Stop it. What time is it?
It's 4:30. I'm calling Dr. Morton.
No. Not yet.
It might be appendicitis.
No. It's not that.
I'm going to kill that bird if it doesn't shut up.
Look, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll see... God, I'll see Dr. Morton in the morning. George?
Yes, honey.
What time is it?
7 o'clock.
I fell asleep.
After the pain seemed to stop.
Oh, the pain. So much better now.
Well, we're going to see Dr. Morton just as soon as you feel well enough to get up.
No, I'll be all right. I'll just stay home. I don't want to see Dr. Morton today.
Paula, you can't let it go. It might be something serious.
I promise I'll see him when it is necessary. I want to stay in bed today.
I'm going to call him and tell him about it after I make us some coffee.
All right. I'm going to wash.
I'll call Mr. Jordan also and tell him that you won't be in today.
He isn't going to like that.
Paula.
What?
Come in here.
What's the matter? You sound so...
I didn't do it, Paul. I know I threatened to, but I swear I didn't. I never gave the bird another thought after that pain itch. I never touched it.
Oh, George, it's all crumpled up.
It's dead, Paul. The bird is dead.
How long ago was this attack?
A little over a month ago, Dr. Morton.
Why didn't you see me right away?
Well, I wanted to be sure.
Well, Paula, there are some preliminary signs similar to pregnancy.
That's what I thought. I knew it would be.
Don't get your hopes up yet, Paula. I told you about the impossibility of your...
I know, but I think that...
And I said these symptoms are similar to pregnancy. They could be caused by something else. I'd like to run a few more tests.
All right, anything that you say, but this time they're going to be positive. I know, Dr. Morton, I just know. A woman knows when life has started within her. Hello?
Mrs. Richards, I thought I'd be seeing you by now.
Oh, yes, well, the doctor hasn't confirmed it yet, but I...
But we know, don't we?
Yes.
The second part of our bargain is due, Mrs. Richards. $5,000. And after what we've already been through, I think you know I mean what I say.
Yes, I do.
Good. I'll be expecting you, Mrs. Richards.
I promise I'll keep my end of the bargain. I told you I arranged for the money. It just hasn't come in yet. I'll check on it today.
Good. I'll be seeing you soon, then.
Yes, I promise.
I hope so, Mrs. Richards. You know what I can do.
Hello, may I speak to Mr. Morton, please? No, Mr. Morton Sr. Yes. What? Good God, when? Well, he can't be dead. He just can't be dead. Well, listen, do you know if he sent... Oh, no, you wouldn't know that. What am I going to do? Dear God. No, I don't want to speak to anyone else.
I expected you sooner.
I'm sorry. I had to turn to another source for the money.
It doesn't matter. You're here with it now?
It's all there.
Good. We're almost even then, eh?
I hope so.
You don't sound grateful, Mrs. Richards. You wanted a child, and you are pregnant. You should be grateful. I have lost my son.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Claude is dead. But he was so ill, perhaps it's better. Part of this will pay for the funeral. The rest is for the future.
I really must go now.
Of course. Go. And good fortune. You won't need the amulet anymore. Save it as a souvenir. And I'll be seeing you when the baby is born.
Paula, George. Sit down. Well, I'm sure glad Paula's finally decided to have you check on those stomach pains, Dr. Morton.
When I examined her last week...
Last week?
I didn't tell you, George. I wanted to be sure first.
Sure what?
I'm going to have a baby.
What?
That's right, George. I wanted to see you both about the results of the tests. It's almost impossible for me to believe, but it's conclusive. Paula is pregnant.
I wanted it so much for you, George.
What? You said that Paula could never conceive or bear a child.
I did, but Paula proved us wrong. Believe me, many things happen to prove us wrong now and then.
You're happy, George?
Happy? Oh, Paula, now I know why you've been so irritable and distant. You know, I feel like I'm getting my wife back along with a baby.
Well, I want to see you every 2 weeks. We usually make it a monthly visit, but you're an unusual case.
A very wonderful case.
I wish you both much happiness.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Jordan?
Yes, Paula. How are you feeling?
I think full is the word.
When is the big day?
The end of August. It's only 3 months. I'm going to spend an uncomfortable summer.
It looks that way. I don't know any way of saying this, Paula, other than just going right out with it. You know we were audited last month at the end of the quarter.
Yes.
The auditors found a shortage of $5,000. I'll have to have an explanation.
Yes, I suppose you will.
Now, I know there must be a reason, Paula. You've worked for me for 5 years. Never a mistake.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I just hope that you can believe it.
Why shouldn't that?
I simply couldn't get the money anywhere. I haven't told George, but we'll pay it back. Look, I promise you.
I hope so. But I'll go along with that.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Right now, the baby's the important thing.
George, it's time. I know it.
I'll get Dr. Morton.
I'll get the suitcase.
Congratulations, Dad.
Everything's all right. Paula?
Paula's fine.
Boy or girl?
Only the mother can tell you that. Go on in.
Paula, honey.
George, isn't he beautiful? I've already named him George Jr. I hope you don't mind.
Mind? Oh, no. Honey, honey, honey. More champagne, Ed?
Silly question.
A toast to the godmother.
Here.
Oh, you two. You know you're going to make a grown woman cry.
To Edna and to little George.
Oh, I'm so happy for both of you. And you don't know how relieved I am.
Relieved?
Oh. Well, what I mean is,
I think that Edna means that she's relieved she doesn't have to listen to my troubles at lunch anymore. From now on, everything's roses.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes. It's for you, honey.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Richards. Congratulations on your new son.
Well, how did you... thank you.
It's time now for the favor. The last part of our bargain.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Good. I'll see you here in my studio tomorrow. With the baby.
Just to see him?
That's all. Just to see him.
All right.
Good.
Come in.
I don't want to seem rude, but I'd like to get this over with just as quickly as possible.
Come. Let me hold him. There we are. What a fine, healthy boy. Aren't you, Claude? Such a fine, strong legs now. They don't hurt anymore, do they, Claude?
Give me back the baby.
Mother told you everything would be all right, Claude.
Mother, is that you? Is that you, Mother?
Yes, Claude.
Oh, my God, what is it?
Mother told you that you'd be away for a little while. But now we're together again. And you won't be sick anymore, Claude. You have a fine new body now. And we'll take better care of it than we did with the last one. Mother will see to that, Claude. Mother will see to it.
So, little George, or little Claude, whichever you prefer, seems to have more than his share of mothers. Perhaps Paula and Mother Love will share the raising of the child. But whatever they do, I hope that you, if you're ever tempted to deal in spells, will remember some age-old advice and follow it. Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. I'll be back shortly. Ah, sweet mystery, magic, mysticism. These are the ingredients we mix well, chill, and serve nightly on Radio Mystery Theater. Come and enjoy our hospitality again when malice heads the menu and menace is our mead. Our cast included Joan Hackett, Vinette Carroll, Mason Adams, Leon Janney, Evie Juster, and Roger DeKoven. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Am I dead?
Not quite. You're in a hospital with a bullet in your brain. As the saying goes, as good as dead.
And Sherry and Herb got away with it. Oh, it isn't fair. I only had it to do all over again.
Suppose you had. Could you do better?
Of course. Of course, if I knew what I know now.
Naturally. That would have to be a precondition if you're asking for yesterday to live over again.
Oh, please. Please, give me the chance.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
To introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. Our stars tonight are Miss Agnes Moorehead and Mr. Ray Collins. You have seen these two expert and resourceful players in Citizen Kane, The Magnificent Amberson, in which Miss Moorehead's performance won her the 1942 Film Critics Award. Mr. Collins will soon be seen in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Technicolor film, Salute to the Marines. Miss Moorehead and Mr. Collins return this evening to their first love, the CBS microphone, to appear in a study in terror by Lucille Fletcher called The Diary of Sophronia Winters. The story told by this diary is tonight's tale of suspense.
February 1st, St. Petersburg, Florida. I, Sophronia Winters, have hereby begun this diary because on this date I feel for the first time that I've begun to live. Diaries are no good unless one has thrilling experiences. For 40 years, I've never had what could really be called a thrilling experience. But Papa's death has changed everything. Here I am in beautiful St. Petersburg with everything to start life anew, money in my purse, 2 suitcases full of new clothes, and a gorgeous new permanent wave. And Florida is really the land of romance. It doesn't matter whether you're 17 or 70. There are parties and dances and bingo games and flirtations for all. My landlady, in fact, tells me that people often become engaged and even married to perfect strangers overnight. I'm still shy, of course, but just the same, it's such fun and so thrilling to think one's fate may be just around the corner. February 3rd. Oh, diary, it is beginning. This morning when I came out of my lodging house to go down to the beach, I noticed a man, a thrilling-looking man, sitting across the street on a bench. It was just as though he were waiting for me, because when I came out, he sort of started up as though he knew me. Of course, I didn't speak first, but I knew the minute I started down the street that he was following me. Well, I got to the beach and sat down with my magazines, and suddenly there he was, strolling toward me with a broad smile.
Well, sitting out here all by your lonesome?
Oh, yes, I am.
Didn't I see you last night over at the Starfish Tea Room?
The Starfish Tea Room?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I was there yesterday. But it was so crowded, I'm afraid I don't recall.
Mighty nice cuisine they've got over there. Mind if I sit down beside you?
Oh, not at all. Oh, just a minute. Sit on this magazine. The beach is so sandy.
Oh, sand doesn't bother me. I'm from Maine, you know. We get plenty of sand up there.
Do you?
You've been down here at St. Pete long?
Oh, just 3 days.
3 days? That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonder I didn't spot you before.
Oh, Mr.
Johnson's the name, Hiram Johnson.
Oh.
I come from Green Harbor, Maine. Run a big hotel up there summers.
Oh.
Well, that's my whole history in a nutshell.
My name's Sophronia. Sophronia Winters.
Sophronia?
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, that's quite a coincidence. My sister-in-law's name was Sophronia.
Oh?
Sophronia Johnson. You ever heard of her? She looked quite a bit like you, too.
Sophronia Johnson. No, I'm afraid I haven't. Who was she? Someone very famous? I'm so ignorant about these things.
Oh, that's all right. Say, look at that sun, will you? I'd say it was pretty nearly time for lunch.
And Diary, darling, he is wonderful. Strong and kind, warm-hearted, so generous. I don't want to be like the other silly women in this town, but Hiram is different. There's something almost poetic about him, something sad and deep.
You know, Sophronia, it's kind of mysterious, us finding that 9-point starfish on the beach together. My sister-in-law, Sophronia, used to collect 9-point starfishes. And to think your name, Sophronia, and you find a 9-point starfish with me. Well, it kind of draws us together, eh? Huh? What do you think?
Completely. As though I'd known him all my life. My landlady says it's foolish. But look at Romeo and Juliet. Weren't they foolish?
What's the good of waiting, Sophronia? I've got to be back at the hotel in a week. We may never see each other again.
Oh, Hiram, don't say that. I couldn't bear it.
Then let's do it right away. Tomorrow? There's a parson out on Coral Avenue who'll do the job for us. We can take a nice moonlight drive out to the Alligator Farm afterward, have a nice shore dinner, then climb on board the Orange Blossom tomorrow night for Maine.
Oh.
Just think of Maine. The big dark pine woods, the sand, the bay. The two of us alone together.
The two of us alone together. February 7th, on board the Orange Blossom. I was married in a wedding dress of Alice Blue moire, with a frill of white organdy at the collar and wrists, and a rhinestone belt buckle. Hiram sent me talisman roses. I'm pressing one precious flower between the pages of this diary for luck.
Be on this bend in a couple of minutes. Bags heavy?
No, not particularly, dearest. Oh, I can't get over that taxi man at the station. Imagine his insolence, saying he couldn't drive us over.
Maybe he didn't have any gas. It happens sometimes around here.
Well, anyway, I'm glad the weather's so mild. Can you imagine what it would be like in a blizzard?
There's the place.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to look until I put down these bags. Now, where?
There. Through those big pine trees.
Oh, it is big, isn't it?
125 rooms.
So many fire escapes and balconies and porches and towers. I stayed in a hotel like that once years ago with Papa. It was very fashionable then.
My grandfather built that place 50 years ago. Hasn't been changed much since.
No? Well, of course you've put in modern plumbing.
Not yet. Here we are. Walk in.
Oh, what's that?
Just a foghorn out in the bay.
Fog?
We get it almost every night in this kind of weather.
What are you locking the gate for?
Why not? There's nobody coming in after us. Or going out again for a while.
But I thought you said the hotel.
The hotel's empty.
Hiram.
What is it now?
Hiram, darling, I know it sounds silly, but let's not go in there tonight. Let's wait until morning.
Why?
Oh, just because it's so dark and empty. There's not a light in the whole place, and no one's expecting us. What do we eat? Where will we sleep? Let's stay in the village just for tonight.
I've got things to eat and a place to sleep. Come on.
Oh, my arm. Hiram!
If you remember my telling you down in Florida about my sister-in-law, Sophronia, well, that's her over there on the wall. Take a look at her.
Hiram, you hurt me. Oh, well, this glass is very dusty. She must have died many years ago. But her face is sweet. It's very sweet. And her eyes, there's something very sad and wistful about her eyes.
She was a murderess. She was hanged in Portland 25 years ago for the murder of my brother Ephraim, here in the lobby of this hotel. She murdered him in cold blood with an axe. That fire axe hanging over there on the wall.
Hiram.
It was a summer day. There were guests sitting out on the front porch in the rockers. It was just after lunch. My brother Ephraim was sitting at the desk counting his loose change. My mother was crocheting in that old wicker rocking chair. Sophronia came downstairs, humming a hymn.
Oh, don't, Hiram. Please don't tell me any more.
Why not?
Well, it makes me nervous to hear it like this in this big shadowy lobby. And your eyes, Hiram. Your eyes. Hiram, you're acting so strange. Hiram, what's the matter with you, dear? I know it was a terrible tragedy, but it happened 25 years ago.
Don't touch me, Sophronia.
Don't touch you.
Do you remember what I said to you in Florida?
What did you say? Well, you said a million sweet and wonderful things to me, Hiram.
I said you resembled my dead sister-in-law. Look at her again. Look at her closely. Sophronia.
But why? Oh, no, I can't. It's too horrible. I can't look at her face with any pleasure now, knowing she was a murderess.
You're afraid to look at it?
No, I'm not afraid. Hiram, please, my arm. Oh, very well. I'll look.
Now, stand there quietly. Like that. Take off your glasses. That's all I wanted to see. That's all I wanted to see.
February 13th, Green Harbor Hotel, Maine. I can't understand it. I try to fathom it, but my head aches and my heart is heavy. The hotel is deserted. Has been for 25 years. Everything is covered with spiders and cobwebs. Great dining room with its oak woodwork is alive with rats. And a row of broken rocking chairs on the front porch faces emptily out to sea. Does he mean this to be my home? He's downstairs in the shabby parlor, off the lobby, playing the harmonium.
Sophronia.
Yes? Yes, Hiram?
Sleeping?
No, dear.
Why is your door locked? Come out. I want to show you around the place.
It's all right, dear. I've seen it. I've seen just about everything.
No, you haven't. You haven't seen the grounds at all.
The grounds? But, Hiram, it's after midnight.
I want to show you where my sister-in-law, Sophronia, is buried.
Well, no. Not tonight, dear. Please, it's so late, and I have a headache.
Open the door, Sophronia. I want you to come now.
No, I shan't. Oh, go away and let me alone. I won't.
No use carrying on like that. You see, I have pass keys to all the doors. See, Sophronia. Beyond, where those 4 birches are standing, is where my sister-in-law, Sophronia, was laid away 25 years ago. It was the biggest funeral in the neighborhood. Folks crowded outside the gate with the dozens trying to get a look, but we wouldn't let them. Buried her ourselves without a service out here by herself on the grounds. Ephraim was buried in town, but not Sophronia. I had a feeling I'd have to keep an eye on her even then.
Keep an eye on her?
I knew she was one of those restless sleepers who wouldn't stay quiet in her own grave. I knew before the year was out she'd find some way to start roaming around hunting for mischief again. She was a young she-devil to the core, Sophronia. They could hang her till doomsday. Wouldn't do any good.
You mean you think she haunts this hotel?
No, not this hotel. She never had any use for it, alive or dead. No. She makes for the warmer climates. She was always a cold-blooded little fish, freezing and shivering all the time. It's places like California and Texas and Florida she makes for.
Florida?
Yes, that's one of her favorite haunts, particularly around St. Pete. She likes the flowers and the sun and the romance.
Hiram, I feel cold. Do you mind if I go inside
Just
now?
a minute. I haven't explained everything. You think I'm crazy, I guess. Crazy. But I'm a lot smarter than some people give me credit for. Because, you see, I have found her now. 3 times. You see that grove of birches over there? Under every one of them's a grave. I found her wandering the earth in disguise 3 times. And I've killed her 3 times. It still doesn't do any good. She's still restless.
You mean you've killed 3 different women?
So now I keep another open grave to remind her. It's waiting now. Would you like to see it, Sophronia?
No, Hiram. No, please,
Are you afraid to see it, Sophronia?
No, Hiram, you don't mean to say that you think just because my name happens to be Sophronia and that I look a little like...
Think what, Sophronia?
Nothing. February 14th. My mind is made up. I made a terrible mistake, and I must get away from this place. I must get away from Hiram as quickly as I can. It should be easy. There's no fog today. If I can only escape from the hotel, I can run and hide in the pine woods. No. I shall wait for dusk, when he generally sits down in the parlor and plays the harmonium. I can hide a little earlier in one of the deserted rooms, and then, when his back is toward the lobby, step out the front door.
Sophronia? Sophronia? Sophronia! Oh, there you are. What's the matter? Anything wrong?
No, Hiram.
You didn't want anything outside, did you? Because if you do, you'll have to ask me to get it for you. You see, I always keep the front door locked.
Yes, Hiram.
Yes, the back door, too. And all the doors leading out into the porches and fire escapes. And a good many of the windows. It makes one feel safe from thieves and peeping Toms. Oh, you've got a cold. That's too bad.
Yes. I must have caught it last night. Outdoors. The damp.
You ought to be in bed. A good bed. The only good bed in the house is in my sister-in-law, Sophronia's old room.
No, Hiram. I'm all right. It's just a little head cold.
Oh, little head colds often develop into pneumonia. Why, it's too bad I didn't think of that before. You might have slept in it from the beginning. Here, up these stairs. What? What's the matter? Are you so weak?
No. No, I'm all right.
This room is the cleanest in the hotel, too. I've always had a sort of suspicion about it. You see, I've kept everything as it was. What's the matter?
Nothing. It's just...
It seems kind of familiar.
No. It's just that seeing it so clean, seeing it as though someone were living here, as though they'd only just stepped out for a moment.
It's as she left it that afternoon when she walked down to murder my brother. You see her needlework on the table with the needle sticking in it? And her hymn book still open?
Mm.
She was very fond of singing hymns, Sophronia was. Had a nice voice, too. I used to accompany her.
Oh.
I'll turn down the bed for you. And you can get undressed while I go and make you some hot tea.
No, I don't want any.
Here's the closet. You can put on one of Sophronia's dressing gowns.
Diary, I'm beside myself. I shall go mad. 2 hours have passed since he locked the door upon me. Night's fallen and I'm alone. Alone in this horrible room with its hideous little mementos of death. I'm sitting here at her little wicker table trying to be calm, trying to write this. Somehow, when one writes about a thing, it doesn't appear so real. My hand is just brushed against her needlework. Her hymn book, where they still lie, waiting. I can bear having them near me no longer. I must get them out of sight. Anywhere. In that closet. A bureau door.
Ready for your tea?
No, Yes, Hiram?
Why aren't you in bed? You'll take worse cold, you know.
I'll get in bed in a minute. First,
Brushing up on your needlework again?
My needlework?
You've got it in your hand.
Have I? Oh, yes. Yes, so I... But I wasn't working on it, Hiram. I swear I wasn't. I've never done a stitch of needlework in my whole life. I don't know one embroidery stitch from another. Let me show you. Look, I don't even know how to hold a needle.
Get into bed, Sophronia. You're feverish.
Before we go on, Hiram, before you go on thinking, we've got to have an understanding. You've got to let me explain. I was born in 1892 in Kalamazoo, Michigan. My name is Sophronia, that's true, but they name lots of people Sophronia. I was named for my grandmother. She had just died. No, you've got to listen to me. I've lived in Kalamazoo all my life. If you'd only just write a letter or send a wire. Well, I've never heard of Green Harbor in my whole life. I never went anywhere. For almost 10 years, I stayed home day in and day out nursing Papa. He had a stroke. I wasn't out of the house. It was the red brick house with the green shutters. February 15th. Now I live only from moment to moment, listening to each creak upon the stairs. I've been in bed all day. It's night now. A foghorn has begun to blow again. February 19th. I woke up early this morning after a wretched night, and the date was burning in letters of fire in my brain. If he's planning to kill me, it'll be today. But the hours have been crawling on. It's almost midnight. Oh, why, if he's going to kill me, doesn't he do it at once? Why does he torture me like this? I'd rather be dead than sit here in this room one moment longer. I can't bear it. If he doesn't come in 5 minutes, I shall force him to come. I shall beat on the door. No. Rather let me sit quiet praying that he doesn't come. Oh, I want to live. I want to live.
Sophronia.
It's come.
Sophronia, come downstairs. I want you to sing me a hymn.
Sing? He never asked me to sing for him before. But she sang. I can't sing, dear. I told you that long ago.
Did you? Well, I'd forgotten.
And besides, how can I come downstairs when my door's locked?
It's unlocked. Try it.
Unlocked? Oh, no. How could it be? Oh, it is, and I never knew it. I never knew it.
Coming?
He unlocked it. Sometime while I was just sitting. Oh, why didn't I try a few more times? Why did I just sit there assuming? No, he'd have caught me anyway. He'd have known. But I might... Oh, now it's too late. He's going to kill me.
Sophronia!
Yes, Hiram. I'm coming. Hiram, where are you?
In here. In the parlor.
What are you doing there, Hiram?
Waiting to hear you sing.
You're at the harmonium?
Yes.
All right. I'll sing. I haven't sung in years, but I might as well. I'll sing for you out here in the hall. My voice will carry better.
It always did carry better in the hall, didn't it, Sophronia? So you remember that, too. Of course, you know both the front and back doors are locked.
play a few bars, Hiram dear, to warm me up?
Shall I sing too, Sophronia? Would you like me to sing along with you?
If it pleases you, Hiram.
Work for the night is coming. Work in the morning sun.
Work for the night is coming. When man's work is done. Work while the daylight darkens. Work in the summer sun. Work for the night is coming. When man's work is done. There's only one more page. Shall I read it to you?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
March 22nd. I've been sick, I think, for a very long time. The pages of my diary are blank, but I shall take you out again for a diary today and start you over again. No, I shall never look back at the other pages. I shall only write on and on about this beautiful place so that no one reading this diary will ever know that I did it. But I did do it, diary. I was smarter than he. When I opened that door at the head of the stairs and heard the music, when I saw the fire axe still hanging on the wall. Oh, I was so cautious. So terribly cautious. I tiptoed like a little mouse, even as I sang the hymn into that room where he was playing. But I was clever, so much cleverer than he. I kept on singing. And now I'm free. Free as a bird. I'm free and he shall never catch me now, not this time or ever again, because he's dead. Isn't he, Nurse? Nurse, isn't my dear brother-in-law, Hiram, really dead?
Yes, miss, he's dead. And now I'll thank you to hand me that diary. The doctor doesn't approve of the patient's writing anything.
And so closes The Diary of Sophronia Winters, starring Agnes Moorehead and Ray Collins. Tonight's tale of suspense.
This is Arch Obler bringing you another in our series of stories of the unusual. And once again we caution you, these lights-out stories are definitely not for the timid soul. So we tell you calmly and very sincerely, if you frighten easily, turn off your radio now. And now, if you haven't already done so, turn off your lights now and listen to Revolt of the Worms.
All I can do is sit and think and wait. Wait for the floors to lift and the walls to crash. Facts. Think of facts. Yes, a journal of facts. Think how it began, why it's happening. Journal of facts until the walls crash in and the thick flesh. Charles Prentice. There's a fact. Chemist and fool. Fool. Run away. Run away. Run away. Run away. Run away from reality. War. 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 Run away.
You mean we're going to live in this godforsaken place, Charles?
Yes, Claire, I remember. You did say that. And I said,
of course we're going to live here. It's ideal for my work.
But we're so far away from everything, Charles.
So far away from what? Your friends? My friends?
All right, Charles. Whatever you say, Charles.
You never disagreed with me, did you, Claire?
Why, it's so quiet up here, it's almost as if we were out of this world.
Yes, I remember. Young Jackson. You did say that.
I like working with you, sir. Why, up here, it's almost as if we were out of this world.
Out of the world. I've wanted to be out of the world. Hide. Until it's over. Yes, why not? Why not?
What are you going all the way up there for, Prentice? To do my work, of course.
But who cares about propagating new varieties of roses at a time like this?
The times have nothing to do with it. I'll do what I please. I'll do what I please.
But, Prentice, to leave suddenly like this, it doesn't make sense. Roses are fine in normal times, but a chemist of your ability, in times like these, certainly there's more productive work that you could do.
I'm not interested in your opinions. I'll do what I please. You hear me? Do what I please.
Do what I please.
Yes, sir. Everything's ready, sir. Greenhouse. All ready for you, sir.
1 week ago, Wednesday.
Does the wind always blow up here, Charles?
Eh?
I said the wind. Does it always blow like that?
Why?
Frightening.
Mighty less frightening than the things that are happening back in the city.
I suppose so.
I know so. Where's that boy? Jackson. Yes, sir? The phosphates, are they ready yet? Not quite, sir. We'll get them ready. Every one of the plants. We work late tonight. Very late.
Work late and hard. That was the answer to everything.
Chemist of your ability. In times like these, there certainly must be more important work than propagating roses that you could do. A chemist of your ability. In times like these, there certainly must be more important
No,
work.
wouldn't think of that, I told myself. Wouldn't think of that. Roses. Yes, develop the greatest rose in the world. That would be my answer to them. While they bombed and burned, I'd develop the largest rose the world had ever known. And when the world settled down again, I'd come back and bring the rose to them, and they wouldn't care if I had run away. My plan. Why did it go wrong? Claire, why did it go wrong? Claire. Oh. Dead. You're dead. They killed you. Dead as I'll be dead. If I could only think, why did it go wrong?
Well, I put the solution that's left over, Mr. Prentice.
Yes, I do remember. That was it.
Oh, gosh, Mr. Prentice, I'm trying to understand, but I'm so tired. You must keep working. The only salvation is to work. What's salvation got to do with roses? Don't be impertinent. Do your work. Yes, sir. 2 cc for each plant, and careful. Don't let any of it touch the stem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You weren't very happy, were you, Jackson? Those were things you couldn't understand.
It isn't that I don't want to work, Mr. Prentice. It's just that I'm all mixed up. These roses. Why do I have to pour this stuff on them every hour, on the hour? It doesn't make sense. Hormones? Sure, I know what they are. Secretions from the glands in the human body. Sure, I know what they're for. Make us grow and everything. I get it. That's what you try to do with the roses, and make them grow fast and big. But how do you know these hormones will work on plants, Mr. Prentice? And how do you know how much to give them, and how big will the roses grow, Mr. Prentice?
Questions. Everlasting questions. But now I ask them, why did it go wrong? Thursday. Thursday? What do I remember?
Well, I throw the hormone mixture that's left over, Mr. Prentice. Mr. Prentice, I said, well, I throw the hormone... Go away. Can't you see that I'm working? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. I remember. Friday. What a Friday. Friday night.
Claire?
Yes?
Is that you?
Yes, Charles.
What are you doing walking out here in the dark?
It's a lovely night.
Romantic at your age.
I just like the night.
You women, come back to the house.
All right.
Crazy, walking around in the dark. What's the matter with you? Can't you walk?
If I hadn't caught you...
It's slippery.
What are you talking about?
It's so slippery around here.
Don't talk foolishness.
But it is.
By George, you're right.
What?
Stand still. I'll light a match. I had some... Yes. Now, we'll see what...
Charles.
Stop grabbing. What? Worms.
What?
Well, can't you see? Just ordinary earthworms. Mat crawlers. We just walked over a few of them. Oh, you women with your fears and your squeamishness. Walked on a few worms and you make more noise and more fuss.
Yes, I remember. Friday night.
The extra hormone solution, where'll I throw it, Mr. Prentice? Mr. Prentice, where'll I throw the extra hormone solution?
Saturday. And then the night.
Jackson! Jackson, where are you? Jackson, I told you to stay in the house. Jackson, where are you? Time to feed the plants. Jackson, where are you?
Not here, Charles.
Claire, you startled me walking up like that.
I didn't mean to.
That infernal boy, where is he? Have you seen him?
He's not in the house.
But I told him not to go out. I told him only an hour ago he's got to work all night. The plants must be watered every hour on the hour.
He went out.
Well, why didn't you stop him? Now I have to go chase after him. Jackson! Jackson, are you out there? Come in. What did you think it was? Thunder. It's starting to rain. Shut the door. Shut the door, I say.
But the boy...
If he hasn't the sense to come in out of the rain, it's just too bad. I've got enough to do with worrying about my roses without worrying about him. And don't you go out after him. He'll come back. He'll come back.
Saturday night. And when it was day again...
Charles, wake up. Please wake up.
Oh, where?
You're on the couch. You fell asleep on the couch. Charles, get up right away.
Well, what's the matter with you? Why should I get up? What difference does it make?
Listen to me, please. The boy, he isn't back yet.
What?
Jackson, he isn't back yet. Charles, where can he be? The storm, you slept, I waited.
Wait a minute. Have you looked in his room?
I just came from there. Charles, where could he have gone to? All through the storm.
Stop talking so much and let me get up. Let's go see. Oh. Must you follow me? Why didn't you wake me up? Why did you let me sleep?
I must have fallen asleep, too. I opened my eyes. It was day. Oh, Charles.
Oh, stop Charlesing me. Crazy young fool, so he spent the night outside. So what's the difference? Teach him a lesson. Well, no wonder he isn't back yet. Fog like this, it's as bad as night.
Charles.
All right. What am I supposed to do? Go wandering through fog like a bloodhound, like a fool? Don't worry, he'll be back. He'll be back.
But you never did come back, did you, Jackson? When the sun came out and that everlasting wind came up and lifted the fog.
Charles, come here.
Where? Where are you?
Back of the house, Charles. Come quick.
Oh, what is it? What do you want now? The boy isn't around. I've looked everywhere now.
Charles, what happened back here?
What?
Look at the ground.
Well, who plowed this ground up?
Plowed?
Yes, certainly plowed. Can't you see? Some crazy, drunken fool plowed up the ground.
But during the night? Charles, how could that be?
You believe what you see, don't you? It's that boy.
What?
Yes, that Jackson went crazy, found the plow, tore up the ground, and ran away. Went out of his mind, that's it. The boy's gone crazy, tearing up the ground. Gone crazy. Gone crazy.
And then, that night, that same night after I thought Jackson had gone crazy, run away, I went back to my work Sunday night.
Charles, can I speak to you? Charles, please stop your work and talk to me.
Haven't you lived with me enough years to know I don't like to be interrupted when I'm working?
But I'm frightened.
Are you? Really?
Charles, stop it.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes, maybe I am.
What did you say?
Maybe I am crazy. All right, maybe I am. That's the only way I could have lived with you all these years.
What?
Endured your selfishness, your unbelievable selfishness.
Well,
everything's for you for 20 years, everything for you.
Now, that's
your
enough.
work, your pleasures, what you think, what you want, everything for you, nothing for anyone else.
Will you
the
shut
gentle
up?
little Mr. Prentice, the scientist, the good husband who never lifts his voice. Mother in heaven, I'd rather be married to a fool with a heart in him than you.
Well, then...
You haven't got a heart. You never had a heart. It's you, and no one else, and that boy can be dead out there and you don't care, and I can be dead and you don't care as long as you're safe and doing what you want to do.
Will you go away and let me go on with my work?
Charles, I'm frightened. That boy. Now there are noises.
I'm asking you for the last time to go away and let me do my work.
But listen to me. You've been out here all night. I've been in the back of the house alone, and I've been listening, and I didn't want to come in here, but I had to. Charles, things I said, I meant them. For years I've meant them. All right, that doesn't matter. But I tell you this, there's something outside the house. Find out what it is, Charles.
20 years ago, I thought you were an irrational woman. I thought I'd trained you out of that irrationality. I was wrong. I'll humor you just this once, but never again. Where are these noises?
At the back of the house.
The lantern handed to me?
Yes.
Thank you. You're frightened. You don't have to go with me.
I want to know.
What? That you're a fool? Well, so what am I supposed to hear? There's nothing. Hello out there. Hello. Well, what now?
Listen.
To what?
Listen.
To what?
I thought...
You heard the wind whistling through the cracks in your brain. Come into the house.
Charles, wait.
Wait for...
Here?
Yeah. So what? Give me the lantern. If it's that boy...
It could be him, couldn't it?
That crazy young fool playing practical jokes. If I get around the corner of the house and... What's going on here?
Charles, something moving under the ground.
Yeah. So dark. Can't quite make out.
Charles, what is it?
I don't know. Animal of some sort?
Take me back to the house.
Oh, go yourself. Moon will come out of the clouds. See what this is.
Give me the lantern, Charles.
No, I want to see. The house is back there. Turn around and go back to it. Go ahead.
All right. All right.
Yes. It is something burrowing. Infernal moon come out, I'd see there. Coming out. Now I'll see what... Holes. Holes in the ground all over. What are they? Who? Bomb craters? But that isn't possible. No. Animal burrows. But what animal could make a hole 4 feet across? What animal? Claire! Where are you? Claire! So dark I can't see you. Claire! Where are you? Claire! Claire! Where are you? Claire! Yes, Claire. Claire! I ran through the night looking for you. The echo of my voice is still in my ears. Looking for you, and the moon was under the clouds, and I couldn't see, and I couldn't find you. And then I did. You had fallen into one of those craters, into one of those holes in the ground. I couldn't see you, but I could hear you. But which one of the holes? They were all over, ground pockmarked with them. I ran around in the dark. I could hear you, but couldn't find you. And then the moon, it was out again. Oh, blast the moon. Why did it come out? If it hadn't come out, I wouldn't have seen. And my head... Stop it, Claire, stop it. I can still hear you. I can still see you. Your body down in that hole. As I ran toward you, suddenly I saw that something else was coming toward you. Something that glistened, wet in the moonlight. Something long and slimy. A great twisting snake. Yet not a snake. Not a snake. And the fear in me made me fall to the ground, and I saw, as I lay there, I saw. The thing moved toward the hole in the ground as if you weren't there. as if it were blind and couldn't see, like a great blind worm. It was a worm. A worm, 10, 20, no, 30 feet long, crawling in fright to its home in the ground. And it moved toward you, Claire. Covered you. Crushed you. You're dead, Claire. You've been dead for 2 days. Why should I tear out of my memory all the horror of how you died? Of how young Jackson must have died?
Where'll I throw the extra hormone solution, Mr. Prentice? Where'll I throw the extra hormone solution, Mr. Prentice?
Yes. That's very funny, isn't it, Jackson? I ran away and I was going to bring back to the world the greatest rose. But I brought back the greatest worms. The hormones you threw away soaked into the ground, and into them, hundreds of little worms burrowing under the ground, soaking into their flesh, into their life process, miraculously increasing the growth of them, until overnight they grew and grew without limit into those terrible horrors. And they are still growing. I can hear them. For the last 2 days, squirming around the house and over it, great monstrous pieces of slimy flesh, squirming and writhing. Hundreds of them, thousands of them, burrowing under the ground and at night coming out of the ground. I have seen them, a sea of flesh, a sea of worms. Yes, I hear you out there, you worms. You were under the ground, and now there's no room underground for you, so you've come out of the ground. The world was yours first, so now you're going to take it back again. The world for the worms. You're under the house. You're lifting it. The walls will fall and crush me, and I'll be dead, and I want to be dead. Yes, now I know why this is happening to me. I thought I could run away from the world and what is happening in the world. You hear that, you worms out there? I thought I could run away. Oh, I'm very tired. Just sit here and wait for them. I know how I'll die. The walls falling, crushing. Ooh. Window. Something behind me. A worm at the window. Head looking in. He's crawling in. And another following. And another. They're filling the room. Worms all around me. The worms. The worms around me. Worms covering. Cold flesh. Wet flesh. Worms. The worms. Covering me. The worms.
to the Black Mass. Tonight, here is a tale about olden times, based, more or less, on the story by Montague Rhodes James, An Evening's Entertainment.
Nothing is more common form in old-fashioned books than the description of the winter fireside, where the aged grandam narrates to the circle of children that hangs on her lips story after story of ghosts and fairies, and inspires her audience with a pleasing terror. But we're never allowed to know what the stories were. Here, then, is a problem which has long obsessed me, but I see no way of solving it finally. The aged grandams are gone, and the collectors of folklore began their work too late to save most of the actual stories which the grandams told. Yet such things don't easily die quite out, and imagination, working on scattered hints, may be able to devise a picture of just such an evening's entertainment. Let's see now. There's the fire burning brightly in the large stone fireplace. On the one side sits the squire, exhausted by a long day after the partridges, and replete with food and drink. On the other side his old mother sits with her knitting, and the children, Charles and Fanny, are gathered about her knee.
Oh, I want to wind Granny's yarn. You did it last time.
No, you did it twice before that.
Well, that doesn't count because...
Now, my dears. You must be very good and quiet, or you'll wake your father. And you know what'll happen then.
Oh, yes, I know. He'll be wounded, cross-tempered, and send us off to bed.
What's that? Fie on you, Charles. That's not a way to speak. Now, I was to have told you a story. But if you use such light words, I shan't.
Oh, Granny, please.
Granny,
oh, please, we'll be good.
Shh. Oh, now I do believe you have woken your father.
Hey, look there, Mother. You can't keep them brats quiet.
Yes, John, yes, it's too bad. I've been telling them if it happens again, off to bed they shall go. There now. You see, children? What did I tell you? You must be good and sit still. And I'll tell you what. Tomorrow you shall go a blackberry. And if you bring home a nice basketful, I'll make you some jam.
Oh, yes, Granny, do. And I know where the best blackberries are. I saw them today.
Oh, and where's that, Charles, dear? I know too, Granny. It's in the little lane.
It's in the little lane that goes up past Colin's cottage.
Charles? Fanny, whatever you do, don't you dare to pick one single blackberry in that lane. Don't you know? But there, how should you? What was I thinking of? Well, anyway, you both mind what I say.
Why, Granny? Why shouldn't we pick them?
Why shouldn't we pick them? Shh. Remember what I told your father?
But Granny, why?
Very well, then. I'll tell you about it. Only you mustn't interrupt. Here, Fanny, you can take the knots out of this skein for Granny. Now, let me see. Oh, my, sounds like a storm blowing up outside, doesn't it, children? Well, no matter. We're safe and warm inside, aren't we? Well, now, that lane. All this, mind you, happened when I was quite a little girl. That lane was feared even then, and as far back as anyone can remember. And if something that happened to your Granny on that lane is any indication, I've often wondered if there was any connection between what I saw and all that about Mr. Davis and his friend that I'm about to tell you.
What did you see, Granny? Yes, what did you see, Granny? What did you see?
Well, you know that lane passes near to the top of that hill, where you've seen that old figure cut out in the crag. Well, I was passing along there one evening. I was already late getting home for my supper. But I remember seeing the currant and gooseberry bushes along the side leading to the top of the hill. The berries were ever so ripe and delicious. And before I realized, I had followed them, tasting one bush, then another, near to the top of the hill. Then I stopped for a moment. I was sure I heard something. Voices, I thought. But I couldn't make out plainly because of the wind. I couldn't make out whether they were coming from the top of the hill or from inside. Somewhere inside the hill itself, voices singing or calling or something. I wasn't frightened at all at first, and I remember walking farther up to see where the sounds were coming from, and the farther up I went, the more it seemed the voices were coming from all around me, from below as well as above. Then, suddenly, you know all those strange old rocks around the top of that hill? Beside one of those rocks. No one believed me when I told the story later, or made out they didn't believe me. Well, what I saw was a hand, a whole arm reaching up from out of the earth. Now, they say that the hill had once been a burial place in ancient times, and that a skeleton arm could very well be unearthed by the rains. But that was no skeleton arm. There was flesh on it, dark and old, and long nails, more like claws. Now you can believe me or not, but I say I saw that arm reaching up out of the earth. And it wasn't a dead arm. When I came nearer, I saw its fingers moving like it was in pain, like it was beckoning me to help it. The rest of it, out of the earth. Now, I told you that I wasn't afraid, and that's true, until I got so close that it almost touched me. But then suddenly a terrible fear overcame me, and I ran all the way down the hill. And I have never once set foot on that place since. Well, now, it was only a short while after that the events I was going to tell you about began. Careful, Fanny, not too close to the fire with that yarn. That's better. Well, now, up at the far end of that lane, let me see, is it on? Is it on the right or the left-hand side as you go up? Oh, yes, the left-hand side. You'll find a little patch of bushes and rough ground in the field, and something like a broken old hedge round about, and the kind of gooseberry and currant bushes I told you about growing among it. Well, that means there was a cottage stood there, of course. And in that cottage there lived a man named Davis. This Mr. Davis lived very much to himself. He didn't work for any of the farmers, having, as it seemed, enough money of his own to get along. But he'd go to town on market days. And one day he came back from market and brought a young man with him. And this young man and he lived together for some long time and went about together. And whether he just did the work of the house for Mr. Davis, or whether Mr. Davis was his teacher in some way, nobody seemed to know. He was a pale young man and hadn't much to say for himself. Well, now, what did those two men do with themselves? Of course, I can't tell you half the foolish things that the people got into their heads. And we know, don't we, that you mustn't speak evil when you aren't sure it's true, even when people are dead and gone. But as I said, those two were always about together, late and early, and there's one walk that they'd take regularly to the place on the hill that I just told you about. And it was noticed that in the summertime they'd camp out there all night. I remember once my father, that's your great-grandfather, told me he had spoken to Mr. Davis and his young friend one evening when he met them on the road. He asked them why they were so fond of going up there.
Why? Why, sir, it's a wonderful old place, and I've always been fond of the old-fashioned things. And when my boy here and me are together there, it seems to bring back the old times so plain.
Well, it may suit you, but I shouldn't like to be in a lonely place like that in the middle of the night.
Oh, sir, we don't want for company at such times. That is to say, Mr. Davies and me is company enough for each other. Ain't it so, master?
Aye. Then there's a beautiful air there of a summer night, and you can see all the country round under the moon.
Oh, it looks so different, seemingly, from what it do in the daytime.
Them bars there, the mounds, all over up there. Now, what would you think was the purpose of them, sir?
Why, I've heard, Mr. Davis, that they're all graves. And I know when I've had occasion to plough up one, there's always been some old bones and pots turned up. But whose graves they are, I don't know. People say the ancient Romans were all about this country at one time. But whether they buried their people like that, I can't tell.
Oh, to be sure. Well, they look to me to be older like than the ancient Romans, and dressed different. That's to say, according to the pictures, the Romans was in armour. And you didn't never find no armour, did you, sir? Not by what you said.
Well, I don't know that I mentioned anything about armour. But it's true I don't remember to have found any. But you talk as if you'd seen 'em, Mr. Davis.
Seen 'em, sir? That would be a difficult matter after all these years. Not but what I should like well enough to know more about them old times and people, and what they worshipped and all.
Worshipped? Well, I dare say I've heard and read about them heathens and their worship. Torture and dances, behavior lewd and ungodly, sacrifices.
Oh, torture and dances, you say?
Sacrifices, you say? Lewd and ungodly behavior. What manner do you suppose?
Read about them, you say. Heathen, you say.
That was the only time my father had much talk with Mr. Davis. It was around that time that people believed some sort of meetings went on at night time on that hill, and that those who went there were up to no good. And there was known to be others besides Mr. Davis and his young man, I mean. and it was only guessed what really went on.
Dances and torches, master.
Not so close to the fire with the yarn, Fanny dear. Now mind what I say, else you find yourself going up in flames. Oh, don't stretch that skein so, Charles. Hold it loosely. That's it. Well, now. Well, I suppose it was a matter of 3 years that Mr. Davis and this young man went on living together. And then, all of a sudden, a dreadful thing happened. I don't know if I ought to tell you what it was.
Oh, yes, please, Granny, do, please.
Well, then, you must promise not to get frightened and go screaming out into the middle of the night.
Oh, no, we won't.
No, we won't.
Of course we will.
Well, one morning, very early, towards the turn of the year, I think it was in September, one of the woodmen had gone up to his work near the hillside just as it was getting light. And what he saw nearly drove the poor man out of his wits. He dropped everything he was carrying and ran as hard as ever he could straight down to the parsonage and woke up old Mr. White.
Parson White. Parson White.
What is it, man?
Oh.
Quiet, glory be. What's the matter with you?
Oh, Parson, sir, come with me quickly. It's horrible. It's horrible. But you must come with me to see what's been done. What's been done.
Calm, just will you quiet down and tell me what it is, man? What have you seen?
In the little woods near the hill there.
Yes.
So I was going up to my work and I saw it in a clearing. A white thing, what looked like through the mist.
A white
like a man. Like a man, sir. And when I came near, I saw it was a man. Mr. Davies, young man, sir.
What?
Oh, he was dressed in a sort of white gown, sir. Yes, he was, and he was hanging by his neck to the limb of the biggest oak. Quite dead, sir.
Glory be.
But the real horrible thing, sir, was his hands.
His hands?
Oh, I don't think there were any hands.
What?
No, I couldn't rightly see for the blood, sir. Oh, the blood.
May the Lord bless us and save us. What a sight to behold! A demon's work, if ever I saw, and himself before us. His left hand chopped clean off. Oh, if clean we can call it. Maybe cleansed would be the word for it. Cleansed, but for the right. Blood!
There, Parson, there, just below. I hadn't seen before. Look, sir.
What? Oh!
The hatchet! The hatchet on the ground here, stuck with blood and bits of flesh.
Horrible.
Some flies on it already.
Oh, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Do you think, sir, that this is a murder?
It's an abomination. An abomination, but I think it's his own act. I think so. You see here, the rock over here. He could have jumped from it and... Yes, it must have been. You can see the saints, the blood. The hand!
Aye, sir, 'tis the hand where he chopped it off. And there it lies. Oh, a sight, sir.
Such a thing.
Oh, and do you see, sir? Do you see it is grasping something?
So it is.
What with all the blood can you make it out? It seems flesh. It seems part of a living body. Oh, sir, what do you think?
God's mercy. I think it's no living body whose part this be. This is Mr. Davis's man, you say, on the tree.
Ah, yes.
I think we'd best find what we can of Mr. Davis himself.
Oh, yes, sir. We'd better hurry, I think.
Now.
Come on, sir. The cottage is down there, on the hill, you see, in the field.
Well, now, the door of the cottage stood wide open, and the two men rushed in, not knowing what horrors to expect.
Mr. Davis!
Mr. Davis!
Mr. Davis!
When they came to the little room which served as a parlour...
Oh,
bless us and save us.
What they
Look
saw.
now. Look.
Oh, they would not forget the sight for the rest of their lives.
What did they see?
Well, there in the center of the room
Work of the devil's own devil.
was a table that had been set up as a kind of altar or place of torture, and stretched across, his feet in clamps attached to the foot, and his wrists held at the corners above his head, spread out, naked, facing upwards, lay Mr. Davis, his body almost in shreds from a whip which lay beside him, a tangle of blood and flesh. But the worst of it, oh, the worst of it, the work of the axe. Just below the breastbone, the body had been sliced as far down and torn open, and inside the axe had hacked and slashed away. A part of the spine stuck up, but nothing else was recognizable except the blood. Oh, the blood everywhere. And the strangest thing of all...
Do you see the face, Woodman?
Aye, sir. The most horrible part.
Not a mark on it. The eyes staring up. And the mouth open into a terrible grin. Oh! Did you see that twitch?
Yes.
The man can't still be alive and breathing.
And trying to speak, it seemed. Both men leaned close to hear and swore later what they heard, though no one could make sense of it. But they swore they saw the mouth move and the words barely audible come forth.
Again. More.
Well, now, Fanny, you're shivering, dear, and so close to the fire. You should fetch a woolly from upstairs, dear.
No, Granny. I'm not cold.
Well, here, you put Granny's shawl round you anyway. That's it now.
Well, did they bury Mr. Davis?
Did they bury Mr. Davis? Oh, that they did. And his young man together. That very night, but not in hallowed ground, as Parson White would have none of that, but up on the hill. And it was no proper burial either. Some of the men just dug a hole large enough and gathered rocks. Oh, only those few men needed for the task were there. They heard the bell.
It's not coming from the church, Parson.
No, we can all hear. It's coming from inside the hill. For the coming of them of their own.
Aye, Parson. And when we dug the grave, we could swear, but for the darkness and only the candles lighting, we struck things that screamed and pulled themselves deeper into the earth.
We've no place here. This isn't the Lord's ground. Quickly now, throw the bodies in.
Right.
Cover them with rocks and some earth. And be away now, come on.
And they did. But it wasn't exactly the end of the story.
What happened then, Granny?
What's that sound, Granny? Do you hear it?
Ah, the sound. I'm coming to that. Well, next morning, some of the town folks passing by saw those strange black patches on the road leading up the hill like a trail.
They look to be alive, like.
Oh, how could they be? But they shimmer so. And when they went closer...
Oh, God preserve us! Flies! Thousands of huge flies.
Why, look what they've been feeding on. Patches of blood from those bodies that were rolled up last night.
Where did they come from? Well, there's never been so many flies about.
Oh, look! Lifting up all along. The sky is black with them. Oh, there's roses! They found the women, swollen beyond recognition, almost changed in shape, you might say, looking more like them horrible half-animal monsters you see pictures of in ancient books. But almost as fast as they came, they were gone, the blood cleaned from the road, and as some folks swore, taken back by the flies into the hill. Now, Charles.
Yes, Granny.
And Fanny.
Yes, Granny?
Now, I want you to pay special attention to what I'm going to tell you. You remember my saying about them blackberry bushes, not to pick a single blackberry?
Yes, Granny.
Well, from what I'm going to tell you now, you can judge for yourselves. Now, I said those flies went back into the hill, or wherever they came from, but that wasn't the end of it. Some of them is always seen about up there. And it was one day, while I was courting your grandfather, we were walking up there among those very bushes, and one of them berries, at least I thought it was, seemed to come alive in my hand. I felt the sting that couldn't open my hand. Now I can only say what I know. A numbness went over me. I heard sounds. Then something like a terrible whip. I can't remember all that happened, but your grandfather says he had to hold me from doing things. And it was his own words that the very devil had gotten into me. Later, when I opened my hand and wiped the awful insect away, I couldn't tell whether the blood had come from me or the demon itself. So you both mind what I say, and find your blackberries down in the hollow near the creek. Oh, but look at the time. Off with you to bed.
Oh, Granny.
Off with you now.
Granny, can we have a candle tonight?
A candle? Certainly not. Now, off with you, and Granny will come and tuck you in later. Go on.
Oh, Granny.
And Charles, don't you frighten your sister up there in the dark, or there'll be no more stories for you.
Mother, what's that?
Oh, I've just sent them off to bed.
Oh, you've been telling them those stories again. You know, Mother, that none of them is true. Where do you get them from?
Well, some of it's true, and the rest, well, it's like I take hold of something and pull gently, and the rest comes up all of its own.
Well, I couldn't tell you where it comes from. I'm going to my bed, too. You'll see to locking up, Mother. Good night.
Oh, I'll see to it. Good night, Sonny. Yes. I'll just sit a little while longer. Where do they come from? Where?
That was, we hope, An Evening's Entertainment by Montague Rhodes James. Pat Franklin played Granny. Her children were played by Marion Winch and Arlene Sagan. The narrator and Parson White were played by Bernard Mays. Don LePage was Mr. Davis, and Frank Laverdi played Granny's father. Mr. Davis's young man and the woodman and the snoring father were played by Eric Bowersfeld, and the two ladies who were eaten by the flies were Arlene Sagan and Pat Franklin. The technical production for the story was by John Whiting, and the adaptation was by Eric Bowersfeld. And now, good night.
The Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Mysterious Traveler, written, produced, and directed by Robert A. Arthur and David Copen, and starring two of radio's foremost personalities, Lyle Sudrow and Robert Donnelly, in Behind the Locked Door. This is a mysterious traveler inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can, as I bring you the strange and chilling stories so many of you have asked to hear again. I call it Behind the Locked Door. Our story begins in the beautiful mountain region of Lake Mead, Arizona. A convertible car is speeding along a deserted road which winds through the mountains. The car slows down, turns into a dirt road. A few minutes later, it comes to a stop before a small mountain lodge. Kathy Evans, an attractive girl in her early 20s, gets out of the car, runs up the steps of the lodge to the front door. She knocks impatiently, looking about anxiously. Yes?
Martin,
Kathy.
I thought I'd find you here. Aren't you going to ask me?
Go away, Kathy.
Martin, what's wrong?
Go
with
away.
you?
Go away.
Not until I find out what this is all about. Let me in. Are you alone?
Alone? Yes.
Darling, look at yourself. You haven't shaved in days. And Martin, those deep gashes on your face. How did you get them?
It doesn't matter.
Darling, you must have lost a great deal of blood. And you're feverish.
Yes, I know.
Is it true about Professor Stevens?
Yes.
Why did you leave town so suddenly last night? The authorities are looking for you.
Do they know I'm here?
No. How could they? It was intuition that brought me here.
They must have found me.
Martin, nothing makes sense. You returned from an expedition last night alone, unexpected. You stay in town 1 hour and then vanish. Not even phoning me.
It's best that way, believe me, Kathy.
You've got to tell me everything that's happened.
I can't, Kathy, I can't.
I'm your fiancé. I've got a right to know.
Kathy, go away, please.
I won't go away until you tell me what's happened.
If I do, then will you go?
Yes.
I don't know where to begin. I suppose if you can say it had a beginning, it was that day a little over 2 weeks ago in Professor Stevens' office. in, Martin. Come in. Have a seat.
Thank you, Professor.
Martin, how would you like to go exploring with me for, say, 10 days, 2 weeks at the outside?
Exploring where?
The Vermilion Cliffs along the Colorado River. I found some wonderful Aztec pieces there last summer. One large cave I stumbled on proved to be a veritable treasure trove.
Yes, I've seen those Aztec pieces in the University Museum.
Now, the Vermilion Cliffs still remain largely unexplored. I'm sure that we could turn up many more objects of interest.
It certainly sounds intriguing. The only reason I hesitate, Professor, is because of Kathy.
Oh, I'm sure she'd give you a 2-week leave of absence.
Yes, I suppose so. How many of us would go?
Well, it would just be you, myself, and an Indian guide, and 3 burros. I find that the fewer there are on an expedition, the better.
Mm-hmm. When would we leave?
Well, what about the day after tomorrow?
All right, Professor, I'm with you. So these are the Vermilion Cliffs, Professor.
Yes. An awe-inspiring sight, aren't they?
They're as breathtaking as the Grand Canyon itself. I had no idea they towered so high.
Yes, they make you realize just how insignificant man really is.
Yeah.
Now, this region is so desolate, Martin, that it's all but unexplored. That's why I'm drawn to it time and time again.
Yes, I can understand that. It represents the challenge of the unknown.
Careful, Martin. You'll get the exploring bug.
Oh, I've already been bitten, Professor.
Well, if you're going to be an explorer and an archaeologist, I'll have to start teaching you the fundamentals of the profession. Sam, it seems like a good spot. We'll camp here for the night.
Phew. Well, it certainly is hot, Professor. Exploring isn't as easy as I thought.
Yeah.
All right, Professor, what is it? For 20 minutes now, you've been sitting on that rock staring at that cliff.
Yeah. Note the boulders strewn over the face of that cliff.
What about them?
Well, that's a very peculiar landslide. If you carefully study the formation of it.
What's peculiar about it?
Many of the rocks look as though they'd been placed there by human hands.
But why, and by whom?
Well, one of the ancient Aztec forms of punishment was to seal a person in a cave by means of a landslide or just piling heavy rocks in front of the mouth of the cave.
That landslide, there must be hundreds of tons of rock there.
Yes. Well, fortunately, we're prepared for it.
Is that why you brought the dynamite along?
Yes. Probably all we'll find will be a skeleton. In that case, it'll have been a waste of dynamite. However, we'll chance it. Oh, Sam.
What do you want?
Get the case of dynamite, Sam. I'm going to blast that landslide.
Professor.
Better leave it same way it be.
Why?
Evil spirit sleep in cave. Better not wake him up.
You really believe that?
Martin, I wouldn't laugh. Sam may be uneducated, but he senses things that you and I can't even begin to comprehend.
Well, now, wait a minute. You mean you believe what he said about evil being asleep in that cave?
I wouldn't say that I believe it. But nevertheless, I respect Sam's opinion. Sam, I still want to blast that landslide.
I get dynamite.
Keep your head down, Martin. When I set that dynamite off, there are going to be a great many rocks flying around.
Don't worry, Professor. I've got cover.
Sam, you ready?
Yes, Professor.
All right. Here goes. Keep your heads down. All right. It's safe now.
Professor, I think you did it. I can see a small opening. It looks like the mouth of a cave.
Yes, it is. Sam, let me have one of the flashlights. Martin, you take the other. I'll lead the way in.
Just as you say, Professor.
Air doesn't seem too bad in here. Yes, it's all right.
Yeah. What's that noise?
Just rats scurrying around.
Oh.
Certainly a huge cavern. Look at that ceiling. Must be 200 feet high.
Look at the bats up there.
Yes, huge ones. I have a feeling that this cavern and others extend for miles underground.
Yeah, Professor, look.
Skeleton.
Yes. There's another one over there.
Yes. Let's see what else there is.
Wagon train. What?
Good Lord. Sam's right. It's a wagon train.
A wagon train?
Yes. But there are at least 30 or 40 wagons in this cavern. Look. Skeletons of horses.
Here's a skeleton with an arrow beside it.
Let me see it. Appears to be a Navajo arrow. What do you think, Sam?
Navajo. Professor, this wagon train, what's it all mean?
Well, many years ago, this wagon train was attacked by Indians. Wagon train retreated into this cavern, hoping to save themselves that way.
And then the Indians caused a landslide, sealing them in.
Yeah.
Poor devils.
Look. Notice that old gun lying there.
Yeah.
The flintlock. Seems to suggest that this wagon train must be at least 100 years old.
Probably headed for the California gold rush of 1848.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back tomorrow and search this wagon train thoroughly. I'm sure we'll find many things of great interest.
The next morning, after an early breakfast, Sam and I followed Professor Stevens back into the cabin. We spent the morning investigating the trunks and boxes we found on the wagons. And among the moldy clothing and 101 household articles, we found faded letters and newspapers which showed the wagon train had crossed the Mississippi in the summer of 1849, headed west for California and gold. We finished rummaging among the effects of the wagons. The professor suggested we explore the cavern. We followed him from one cavern to another, each varying in size. Now and then the professor would stop to mark our trail, for the caverns were honeycombed with countless passageways.
How far do you think we've come, Professor?
I should say we're about a mile from the wagon train.
Huh?
We'll go back a few more minutes.
We go back now. This place is evil.
Now, Sam, if there are ghosts here, they're only the ghosts of the people in the wagon train. They wouldn't harm us.
I tell you, evil. Feel it all around. We'll go back.
We'll go just a little further and turn back.
Professor, wait a minute.
What is it, Martin?
I think I hear running water.
Yes, you're right. Come along.
We seem to be getting closer.
Yes.
Evil all around us.
Can't be much further.
Well, there it is. Yeah. It's a small river. Look how swiftly it's flowing.
Yeah. This probably flows for miles underground and empties into the Colorado River.
Say, Professor, here along the bank, there's a tremendous pile of fish bones.
Yes, so there is.
Look. There are even more on the other side of the river. What do these huge piles of fish bones mean?
It's very strange.
How do you account for it?
I'm afraid that at the moment I can't. Sam, you any ideas about it?
Evil all around us. I feel him strong.
Professor, he's trembling.
Sam, there's nothing to be afraid of. Look, I'll shine my flashlight around, see?
We've been watched.
Watched? What are you talking about?
We'll stay here. I go.
Sam, come back. You haven't even got a flashlight. Sam! Come on, Martin. We've got to catch him. Sam! Wait for us.
I can still hear his footsteps.
We've got to catch him. He'll do himself a serious injury running in the dark like that. Sam! Wait for us!
Professor, it's Sam, screaming.
This way. That fool's probably broken his leg.
No, it sounds more like a fight.
Who could he possibly be fighting with?
I don't know.
Keep shining the flashlight around. Can't be much further. Sam! There he is. Yes.
Look. He's just sitting against that boulder. His head down.
Yes. Sam, give me a hand with him.
Good Lord. His face. Nick.
Yes. I haven't really. But it's so incredible that I can't bring myself to voice it.
Tell me.
What, you think I'm insane?
Tell me.
What if the people of the wagon train, or rather their descendants, are alive here in these huge caverns?
Well, that's impossible.
Why? Picture what happened the day the 150 people or so were sealed into this mountain by the Indians. What would have been the first thing they'd have done?
Try to dig their way out.
Exactly. They start digging and find there are 100-ton boulders blocking the entrance, and they have no dynamite. They're forced to give up.
Yes?
They spend days looking for another way out, fail to find one. The day comes when all their food is gone. Starvation sets in.
All right. Then that would mean they would all die.
Not necessarily. The strongest of them stumble along in the darkness and find the underground river. They catch an abundance of fish and are able to survive.
The huge fishbone piles along the river.
Right. The river was an everlasting supply of food. They continue to live by the river in the dark. Some probably went insane, died. Others adjusted themselves to their new environment.
Professor, you think those handful of survivors had descendants who are alive today inside this mountain?
Yes, Martin. And it was one of them who clawed Sam to death.
What can those descendants be like? Being born and living in darkness.
I can only guess. I should imagine they'd be blind or near to it. But their other senses would be remarkably developed.
Their physical appearance?
I don't know.
It's all like a nightmare. A nightmare you can't awaken from. What's to prevent them from attacking us?
Our flashlights, for one thing. I'm sure light frightens them, just as fire frightens animals. Fortunately, I have a revolver.
Well, we better move on. Wait a minute. What about Sam?
There's nothing we can do for him now. Come along, Martin. We must find the trail I marked so that we can get out of here.
Seems we've been searching days for the markings you left.
Yes. Actually, it's been 10 hours. Listen.
What? The river.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come along. Once we reach the river, we'll be able to pick up the trail I'm on.
Well, we're getting closer.
Yes.
There it is.
Here we are. Look, Martin, there's my marking on the passageway. We found the trail.
Yes.
Martin, 2 a.m. We'd better rest for a few hours. We're both too exhausted to go on right now. One of us stand guard, while the other sleeps.
All right. I'll set up the first hour.
Thank you, Martin. Keep the flashlight on.
Don't worry. I will. In a matter of minutes, the professor fell asleep, and I sat on guard, flashing my light slowly around the huge cabin. I looked at my watch, and the seconds seemed like minutes, and the minutes like hours. My eyes grew heavy, and I finally dozed off. Suddenly, I awakened in the darkness to hear the professor screaming.
Martin! Help me! Turn on the flashlight!
Frightened frantically, I fumbled in the darkness, but I couldn't find it. Then suddenly there were shots. By the flash of the gun, I could see the professor struggling with a huge, dark figure. And suddenly, all was quiet, except for the professor's moans. As I crawled toward him, In the darkness, my hand struck the flashlight. I turned it on, and there was the professor.
Martin, I think I'm wounded.
You're bleeding badly. Let me stanch your wounds.
Too late. Leave at once. At once.
But what about you? Professor? Professor! I felt his heart, but there was no beat. I staggered to my feet, shined my flashlight around until I found the professor's markings. I stumbled wearily along the marked passageway, trying not to remember my last glimpse of the professor's face. I hadn't gone more than 100 yards when suddenly my flashlight flickered and went out. As I stood alone in the darkness, rats scampering past, I fought to keep from screaming. The darkness seemed to become heavier and more oppressive with each passing moment, and I had the feeling something was silently approaching. I backed up against the passage wall and waited, my eyes straining in the darkness, and then suddenly I was leaped upon by a wild fury. I threw my arms up as razor-like claws raked my face and neck. Again and again, the darker savage was knocked aside, and I could feel the blood streaming down my face and neck. And then suddenly the deathly clawing ceased as my attacker turned to ward off something in the dark. As I sank to my knees, I was dimly aware of a fierce fight taking place, and then consciousness left me. Later. How much later, I have no way of knowing. I became aware of a heavy, calloused hand washing my face and neck with water. I winced in pain as the water flowed into the deep cuts, and then suddenly I remembered all. And remembering all, became aware of the calloused hand washing my face and the presence of someone beside me in the darkness. Oh, who are you? For a moment, the hand hesitated, then resumed washing my neck. Oh, can't you speak? Say something. The noise came from its throat that was more that of an animal's than a human being. If I could only see you. Do you have a name? It spoke. It seemed to repeat the word name, though I couldn't be sure. Faint from the loss of blood, I closed my eyes and fell asleep. When I awoke, my face and neck felt stiff and painful. It seemed to sense I was awake, for as I opened my eyes and stared into the darkness, it came to my side. Can't you understand anything at all? Don't my words make any sense to you? Why did you save my life? My hand brushed against its hand, and I could feel the sharp, claw-like fingers on it. I reached out in the darkness. As I touched its face, it bit my hand. I tried to get to my feet, but it placed a strong hand on my shoulder and held me down. At that moment, I realized that not only was it my savior, but my jailer as well. I lost all track of time. Now and then, it would leave me, and I would cautiously get to my feet to steal off, but no sooner had I taken more than a few steps than it would be there at my side, forcing me to return to the bank of the river. I spent my every waking moment trying to think of a way to escape. And then, when my despair was greatest, an idea came to me. The professor had said that the underground river I lay beside emptied into the Colorado River. Though the odds were 100 to 1 against my surviving, I knew it was the only possible way of escape. Slowly, I crawled the few remaining feet to the edge of the river and, leaning over, started to wash my face. I could sense that it was watching me. I leaned forward a few inches more and fell into the river. As I came up for air in the swift flowing water, I heard a splash beside me. A moment later, I felt its arms around me. The current swept us along with breathtaking speed, and as we clung to each other, I discovered that it couldn't swim. For what seemed hours, the river swept us along in the darkness, and I felt myself losing consciousness as I attempted to keep the two of us above water. When I regained consciousness, Kathy, we were both lying on a sandbar in the Colorado River, and the sun was beating down on us.
Darling, you're delirious from your wounds. You need a doctor.
I wish it were simple as all that.
You're feverish. You need care.
Go away, Kathy. Go away.
How can I? Leaving you alone like this?
Don't you understand? I'm not alone. She's here.
She's here?
Yes. Didn't I tell you? It turned out to be a she.
You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're saying.
I first saw her that first time. Lying unconscious on that sandbar, my first instinct was to leave her there, but how could I? She had saved my life in the cavern and then jumped into the river when she thought I was drowning, even though she couldn't swim herself.
Martin, I want you to get a grip on yourself.
Just as I was dependent on her in the dark, she's dependent on me in the light. She's blind. She can't speak, yet she...
Stop talking like that.
You can't believe it's true, can you, Kathy? Neither could I at first.
What are you staring at? Huh? Is there anyone in that bedroom? Well, I'll soon find out. Why is the door locked?
She's in there.
Martin, you're sick. You don't know what you're saying. I'll prove to you there's no one in that room. It's just your imagination. Give me the key to the door.
Kathy,
Give it to me. Thank you. Perhaps when you see the room is empty, you'll be willing to return to town for medical treatment. There. I told you.
This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our trip? What's that, madam? You want a description of what Kathy saw when she opened that bedroom door? Well, you might ask Kathy. But the only trouble is the poor girl gets hysterical when you question her about the occupant of that bedroom. I suggest you write a letter to the Museum of Horrors for a full description. They consider the Woman of the Mountain as their star exhibit. Because when she... Oh, you'll have to get off here. I'm sorry. I'm sure we'll meet again. I take this same train every week at this same time.
You have just heard The Mysterious Traveler. You may now enjoy other exciting adventures of The Mysterious Traveler in the current issue of The Mysterious Traveler magazine. In our cast, Lyle Sudrow, Ann Shepard, and Robert Donnelly, with Maurice Travel in the title role. Bill Tonkin speaking. This program came to you from New York. Mutual's ace commentator Cecil Brown, currently on a 3-month fact-finding tour of the world, heads for the Orient on the last lap of his history-making trip. In these last weeks, Mr. Brown will bring you on-the-scene reports from such tinderbox areas as India, Hong Kong, Hawaii, Japan, and Honolulu. You won't want to miss any of the eyewitness accounts by this able commentator of the latest happenings in these headline-making spots of the world. Be sure to listen to the news reports of Cecil Brown over most of these stations. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
dream, you are falling, lost in the listening distance as dark locks in. Nightfall. Good evening. Tonight, and almost as usual, we'll be taking you out to a nice little place in the country. Of course, we can't promise that you'll know where you really are, even after you've arrived. The play, a first for Nightfall by Randy Brown, is called The Porch Light.
Downstairs porch light on. What time is it? God, 3 o'clock in the morning. Wait a minute. I turned that light off before I came upstairs. Maybe Carol. No, she was already here in bed. I know I turned it off. Strange. Damn it. Now I won't get back to sleep until I turn that thing off. Shh. Try not to wake Carol. Where are my slippers? Dressing gown. It's cold. Feels as if the window's open. Nope. It's closed tight. Must be a draft from somewhere. Look at that storm. Must have snowed 6 inches in the last few hours. What's that? Something moved under the porch light down there. Can't see for this frost. Looks like it's... Yes, it is. It's a man. Standing under the porch light. My God, he's looking up here, waving. Like he wants me to come down. What the hell? What's he doing out there in this weather?
Bob? Bob?
I'm over here.
What are you doing?
There's a man under the porch light, waving to me.
Come back to bed.
No. Come and see this.
It's cold.
Well, put on your dressing gown.
Why don't you turn on the light?
Not yet. There's something strange.
Oh.
Why is he waving like that? He couldn't possibly see me. Why doesn't he knock?
Oh, maybe he knocked before and you didn't hear him.
Well, could be. Something woke me.
Look, he is there.
You thought I was dreaming?
No. What's he wearing?
Looks like a jacket or...
It's not a jacket, it's pajamas.
Pajamas? Yeah, you're right, it is. Where could he come from wearing pajamas?
Well, his car must have broken down.
Who'd drive around the country in pajamas during a blizzard?
Something funny.
Well, funny isn't the word for...
No, I mean, he's standing there and... Seeing the pile of snow you shoveled today beside the front door? See the snow shovel sticking out?
Yeah.
See the shadow of it? Well, he's standing right beside it, and he's not throwing a shadow.
Oh, Carol, I mean... Well, it's hard to see with all that snow blowing down there. But... Well, it must be a trick of the light or something. Anyway, I guess I'd better let him in before he freezes.
Look at him waving like that. How could he even know we're home, let alone at this window?
Oh, he knows we're here all right.
Car's in the driveway, the porch light's on.
Why'd you leave the porch light on?
Well, I could swear Oh, never mind. I'd better get down there.
You still can't see a shadow.
Yes, well, you're right. It is weird. I don't understand. Anyway, better go.
Wonder who he is.
Don't know, but we'll find out.
Wait. Bob, I'm coming with you. Bob, come into the kitchen.
Honey, he's knocking at the door. I've got to answer it.
No, wait. Come in here for a sec.
Look, Carol, the poor guy's freezing out there, and
Bob, something's wrong.
Look, he probably just needs to use the phone.
I want you to be careful.
What's the matter?
That man, I think there's something strange. Here. Take this with you in case.
A knife? Are you really so scared you want me to greet this guy with a knife in my hand?
Just in case.
Listen. Look, he's knocking. I'll be careful. It's only one guy, and he must be half frozen. I don't think I need it. But leave the knife on the counter.
Bob, I mean it. I don't think you should let him in unless there's somebody else here.
Somebody else? Like who, for instance? Santa Claus?
Call the police.
Honey, you're too used to Toronto. We're living in the country now. The OPP is 20 miles away. Look, trust me, will you?
I trust you. It's
him, right?
Yes.
Well, don't worry. I'll be careful. You wait here. You can see the front door. If he tries anything at all, phone the cops.
Oh, I don't like this.
Hang on. I'm coming. Hang on to your hat. I'll be right with you, my friend. Right with you. Hello, There's nobody here.
Bob,
now, where the hell could he... Is there somebody out here?
What are you doing?
Yes, sir. All right, somebody's playing tricks. Is that it?
Where's the
guy's gone.
Where'd he go?
Search me.
Come back in here.
I'll just take a look around the side. Hey, come off it, Carol. Stop playing games. Don't turn the light off. Hey,
Carol. What's going on here? What are you doing?
Well, thanks a lot.
What'd you lock me out
for? Are you idea of a joke or something?
Bob, I didn't touch it. I didn't. It slammed and locked by itself.
Sure. Okay, sure. Maybe the wind caught it, but you must have turned out the light.
I didn't, I swear.
Oh, come on, I don't believe you, Carol.
I swear to God I was standing right behind you, and the light went off, and the door slammed, and I saw the lock turn by itself.
Well, sure, okay, whatever you say, except that happens to be a deadbolt. You have to turn it yourself.
I didn't touch it or the porch light either.
Impossible. Watch. See? It won't move by itself, and the light doesn't move by itself either.
I am not lying.
Okay, you're not lying. The thing is, where's that guy? I can't figure it. Hey, hold on a second. Where are his footprints?
Right there.
No, those are mine. What's going on? There aren't any footprints leading away. None at all except mine. What is going on? Now, you stay here, honey. I'm going to take another look.
No, don't go out there again.
Hold the door this time. And leave the light alone.
Bob, get in here.
Look. See? I'm standing right where he was. No footprints. And look at my shadow. It's huge. We couldn't have missed it. Even from upstairs.
You're crazy going out there.
Hold, I'm freezing.
I told you not to.
I know. I heard you. This is really strange. What do we do now? Carol.
What?
Did you...
What?
Did you really not?
What?
Did you really not turn off the light, or...
No.
Hey, you're shaking. Come here.
Oh, Bob, I'm scared.
Take it easy. Don't worry. All right? That's the main thing. Come on now, brighten up.
What are we going to do?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is take a real good look around.
Look around.
Come on now, open your eyes.
Bob, I can't. I want to go back to bed.
And leave me?
No, I want you with me.
Sure. We'll do that, but first we've got to. Come on now, stop shaking.
I'm freezing.
Me too. And we'll feel better once we start to move. Now, first, I want to check the living room and then the dining room. Come on now. Are you coming? Let me get the light. There, that's better.
Bob, that man, who could he have been?
What could he have been is more like it.
I don't even want to think about... Where are you going?
Checking these windows. Nope, all locked. And so are the ones in the dining room. See, there's nothing to worry about. The whole house is locked up tight.
Well, why are you checking the windows? You don't think...
What?
Do you think he might try breaking in?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, God, I think I'm going to be sick.
Hey, Carol, relax. Just relax, okay? Everything's locked up tight. Nobody could get in. There's nothing to worry about.
Oh, Bob.
Look, why don't we just go into the kitchen and get some coffee?
My neck muscles.
Tense.
Call the police, please.
Oh, for God's sake, Carolyn, tell them what? A man knocked, then disappeared. A lock turned, a switch moved. I can barely believe it myself. I can't understand it. It's like a nightmare.
Just call them.
They probably asked me if he landed in a spaceship.
Then I'll call them. What's the number?
Above the phone.
Something's wrong. There's no dial tone.
Is it plugged in?
Yes.
Take it easy. Let me. Let's see. It must be... Yeah, it is. It's dead.
What are you doing?
I'm checking the cord.
What are you looking for?
Oh, nothing. Disappears here. Must go down to the basement. I better go down and check.
Bob, no. You think somebody cut it?
I'm not thinking anything. Actually, the storm. The lines are probably down.
Don't go into the basement, please.
Okay.
Bob, wouldn't
what?
Well, if the telephone lines are down, then wouldn't the electricity be off, too?
Good point.
I wish I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. I wish you hadn't either.
Bob, I think I hear...
What?
Something in the basement.
Shh. Like what?
I thought...
I'll fix that. I'll lock the basement door. There. That'll do it.
I'm sorry. It was probably just me.
Maybe the furnace. I turned the thermostat up.
I hope I don't start hearing things.
Hey. Let's turn the radio on, get some music.
That was Ray Whitaker and his big band for your enjoyment at 3:11 in the morning. Well, I guess it's time for our late night weather report. Up to the minute weather from your local station, CKQE, serving the whole Huntsville region. And as all of you who are up right now at this time of the morning know, there's a bad storm out there. But that's what January is like. I guess we just have to love it, or we go to Florida. That's not a bad idea. Anyway, the main highways are blocked at the moment because of heavy drifting. But we've been assured they'll be open by the morning. I guess all you people out there in the secondary roads better huddle down for a long wait before the plows get to you. Now, don't get out in your car, that is, if you can get out in the first place, and I don't think that's very likely. Now, police are warning everyone, stay off the roads, so you pay attention now. We're getting the worst of it, maybe as much as 1 meter. Let's see here, 1 meter. That's 39 inches of snow. Whew, that's expected to fall in the next 24 hours. Now, don't worry, the crews are out, and everything is under control. And for a more cheerful note, tonight's hockey score in the...
The police couldn't get here even if we could phone them.
Nope, and we couldn't...
We couldn't get out, is that what you...
Yes.
I wouldn't go out there with that man. Oh, why didn't we buy a house closer to town?
You know why, Carol? This one was so cheap. We thought there was something wrong with it, like it was stolen or something.
It was okay last summer.
It's all we could afford, and we couldn't have gotten anything half as good for the price in Toronto.
It was cheap even for up here.
Yeah, well, now I understand about that story.
What story?
The story the real estate agent told me.
I never heard it.
I know. I forgot all about it at the time, but...
But what?
Tonight, reminded me.
Oh, God, what? Tell me.
Well, it happened 10 years ago. The guy said a couple had been killed, murdered by an intruder.
Here? Here in this
Yes.
house? Well, I never would have bought a house where... You know I never would have. That's why you...
You never asked, Carol.
Don't say that to me. You might as well have lied. Bob, that's... How could
That's
you?
why we have a house at all. We couldn't have afforded it.
Oh, no. Oh, where were they? Not...
Killed? No, not in our room. She was found here in the kitchen, and he... This is the odd part.
Stop, please. Don't tell me any more. We're selling this house, that's all I have to say, and... What's that?
Footsteps. Upstairs. From our room. Sounds like steps on a wooden floor, but... Our bedroom's carpeted.
Where are you going? Don't leave me.
Come on.
Look, our bedroom door's open.
I'm going in. We've had enough of this.
You don't know what he'll do.
If anybody's in there, come out, okay? We don't want trouble. I'm coming in.
No, Bob, please don't.
Stay here, Carol. Okay, I'm coming in. I'm coming in now. I just want to talk. Carol, there's no one in here. Carol, it's okay. Here, hold it. Calm down. I'm
Get me
here.
out of here, please.
Yeah, we're getting out of here. Come on, let's go.
Oh.
Be careful. Watch where you're going.
Oh, God, I'm
Come on. Watch your steps. Where are the damn lights? Where are they?
We've got to get help. We've got to get help.
We'll get help. Don't worry. Calm down. Carol.
Oh, there's no lights. There's not the lights.
Hang on to me, Carol. Hang on to me. We'll go back into the kitchen. It'll be all right. Here's a chair. Sit down. You'll be all right, darling. I'll take care of you. Hang on to me, Carol. Hang on.
Oh, turn on the lights, Bob. It's so dark.
They're out, honey. The lines must be down somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We've got candles, don't we? Do you remember where the candles are?
In the cupboard. Bob, won't somebody help us?
Of course they will. Don't you worry. Now, which cupboard?
I don't know.
Below the sink, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. Matches. Here. And there was light. Damn draft in here like a wind.
It's so cold. I'm
draft.
freezing.
It's the draft. Now it's blowing out the candle. There. Got it going now. That's better. Damn it. I can't keep the candle going. All right, Carol. I've got to get the flashlight. It's in the front hall closet.
No, don't leave
Darling,
me here.
listen, we've got to get out of here.
I'm not going outside. That man's out there. Oh, I can't.
You have to. You've got to. Hear me? Now, I'm going to the front hall closet to get the flashlight, and I'll bring your coat.
Oh, what if he's in there?
I'll chance it. Be right back.
Take the knife.
Oh, okay. Where is it?
On the counter.
I need a light. Where? It's not there. Oh, no.
What?
The knife. It's stuck in the wall.
Oh, how did it get there?
God knows, but leave it there. No good against that. Whatever it is up there.
Don't go back upstairs.
I'm not. He can stay up there for all I care. He can have the whole damn house if he wants. Do you hear me? You can keep the whole damn place.
Stop it.
Don't worry, Carol. We're going to be all right. I'll be right back. Damn him. I'll get him this time. Nobody. In the porch light. It's on. How can it be on and no footprints here? The door!
Bob! Is it?
Carol, open the door! Open the door! snow shovel! Carol, it's me. I'm coming in the window. Where are you, Carol? I'm coming. Carol, answer me. Are you still in the kitchen? Carol, are you in here? Got to have some light. Oh, the night. Oh, God. Carol. Oh, God. No.
Back road's been snowed in now 4 days, you know, officer, and we've been driving our rigs down and plowing them out as fast as we could get to them. Like I was saying, this road's been blocked since the big storm.
When did you see the body?
Well, I was coming slow up the hill, and I saw like a stick coming out of the snow ahead. Thinking it was a tree branch, I stopped. I found him froze solid. Turns out it wasn't a branch, it was his arm sticking out.
Do you know who it is?
Not exactly, but I got an idea. Young couple bought the house about a mile back.
Well, we'll drive down and take a look. You wait here and don't touch anything. There'll be another officer along to photograph him.
Don't worry about me. I'm not going near him. God, well, look at his face.
Well, this must be the place.
Nobody's been in or out. Car's still in the driveway.
Yeah. Let's go.
How do you figure that guy got out in the road in his pajamas?
Well, that's the $64 question.
I say he was killed and dropped from a car. There was blood on him. Now, you don't get that from hypothermia.
There weren't any wounds. I got a hunch we'll find our answer, if there is an answer, inside this house.
What makes you so sure?
How long you been on the force?
A year.
Over the last 9 years, we've had a lot of calls from this house. It's been empty for the last year or so. But before this, anyone who rented it would call us to report waking up to find some guy in his pajamas waving to them from the front porch.
Well, how'd they know he was there?
Well, they could see him standing under the porch light. But when they went to the door, nobody there. And footsteps and lights going on and on.
A haunted house? You're kidding me.
Well, everybody who lived here got out faster than they came in.
Here, look. The front door's open, and the window's broken.
Yeah. Looks like it was smashed with the snow shovel there.
And the porch light's on.
I got a feeling what we're going to find. Let's go inside.
Hello? Anybody home? Snow's drifted in. There's no heat.
Take a look in here, in the kitchen.
There doesn't seem to be anyone. My God. A woman. My God, look at her.
Yeah. She looks the same as...
As what?
As 10 years ago. The newspapers are going to have a field day with this one.
But this isn't just a haunting, it's murder.
It was murder 10 years ago. We found the exact same thing. Woman here in the kitchen and the man out there even looked the same. Door open, window broken. Even the porch light was on. Oh, the newspapers played it up. We figured an intruder. But then the forensic lab got evidence from the husband's body. He killed her.
And these people?
God knows.
You have just heard The Porch Light by Randy Brown.
Well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And remember, happy birthday to me. Seriously, though, I want to wish all the mothers out there a very happy and joyous Mother's Day. And remember, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/terror1970, or you can find me on Instagram at Radio Show Nerd. I also have a YouTube channel, Terror Radio. Please check it out. Subscribe, like, and share the videos. Will be highly appreciated. Again, this is your host, Keith, better known as the Radio Show Nerd, signing off.